Today! It has been 2 full weeks.
Wow.
Wow, since the Switch 2 has come out, and we are finally ready to give our final review, the official Kit and Krysta review of the system and of Mario Kart World, now that we've spent so much time with it.
We're done with it. We don't need to play it again.
No, we're done.
No, we're done.
Throw it in the trash.
Tell us, wake us up when you got a Switch 3.
Exactly.
Yeah, we say around here, we don't review games.
But
this isn't a game. Mario Kart's a game, but we're gonna do it.
Where are you going?
We make the rules.
Where are you going with this?
We can deviate from the rules when we feel like it.
Well, this is an important thing to review.
Yes.
And we normally don't review stuff because we don't feel like we spent enough time with it to be able to offer
the rigors.
Yeah, we don't have the discipline to do reviews normally, but we did have the discipline for this one for sure because we have just been spending every single day.
You know, maybe a lot of people doing reviews these days don't have the discipline either. So just saying, just throwing that out there.
Fighting words already within the first 2 minutes.
24
of this
hours after the thing. Here's my review, my comprehensive review.
Here's my think piece after I've touched it for like 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But yes, we have been very, very diligently spending time.
The diligence has been commendable, in fact.
Exactly.
Yes.
I went on my first travel.
I want to ask you about this. You were in Canada.
I was.
The Great White North.
Yes.
Was it still snowing there? No.
No, it was beautiful.
But how was this? You were in Toronto.
I was in
for
Toronto
about a week?
for a week for Toronto Game Week, and had a great time. At the XP Gaming Summit. I was speaking at the event.
Wow.
Humble brag.
She's humble bragging.
Humble brag. Just, guest speaker, whatever.
You know who wasn't invited? Me.
You.
No.
Not an expert in video games, sorry. I got to spend some lovely time with our good friend, Kim Chica.
Yes.
Jenny
Wonderful.
Wyndham from Wholesome Games, my bestie. She came with me last year to this event as well, and we had a great time hanging out together and meeting some wonderfully talented indie developers and just a lovely time all around. But the cool part was, just a week into having my Switch 2, I got to take it on its first international trip.
And how did they go? I'm so curious about this.
I got it a passport. I got it a known traveler. No.
Oh, wow.
No, it rode with me. But yes, it was really, really cool because I know we were kind of lamenting a bit at the end of our last trip. We were like, oh no, this is the last goodbye to Switch 1. And it was
new beginnings.
It definitely felt like the end of something and the beginning of something else. So this is the first time I was all set with my cases and things like that, and
what case did you decide? Because we have a million cases because we've been doing all these accessories videos.
I'm still rocking the Genki. What is it called?
Yes.
The gray cloud something.
Sleeper case.
Sleeper case.
Yes,
thank
that's
you.
a nice one. Yeah.
It is really nice. It is kind of big. Before, the Switch wasn't like super small, but this is much bigger compared to the Switch 1.
Yeah.
So I was trying to Tetris the thing in its case into my bag.
No.
You gotta carry some other stuff when you travel, like your laptop and stuff like that. So it's just like a lot of stuff in there. I did notice hilariously how huge it was, that it wouldn't fit into the seat pocket. I was jamming the thing into the seat pocket.
That's a consideration.
It's huge.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was awesome, of course, to have it with me. There's just 1,000,001 games to play right now, and we've been dabbling on a bunch of different games and playing a ton of Mario Kart World. So I was very entertained for that 5-hour flight to Toronto. I was very aggressive in commandeering the plug though on the airplane, because the battery life is a little shaky on this thing, and if you kind of continuously play it, it does kind of drain pretty quick.
Yes. So
I needed a way to charge it, or else it wouldn't last that 5-hour flight. So I was immediately mine.
Yeah.
So that was fine. But I mean, again, on flights these days, there's normally plugs. I don't know about trains. I don't ride the train in the States enough to know, but
we don't have those.
Yeah, no. We don't. Unfortunately,
we don't. There's a reason we don't ride them. It's because we don't have them.
I would if I could. I think most trains though, most public transit.
In Japan, they definitely
they have outlets,
Yeah.
so you're probably good. I did have a battery just in case. I didn't really have to pull it out.
Did anybody spot it? Oh, well, look, that looks different. What's that?
No.
Ma'am, tell me about that.
Too early, I think, in terms of like this thing being out. It hasn't like penetrated the masses
right
yet. So like I was very vigilant. Like I was trying to see like are people traveling with this thing? Are people like walking around with it?
You were on like the business person's like 7 a.m. to Toronto. This was not the like we're going to Disneyland flight, you know?
It wasn't like we're going to PAX. Yeah, we were talking about how on a flight to PAX you see a lot of people playing Switch or whatever. But yeah, I saw not a single person with this. And yeah, it was interesting. Even during the game event that I was at, not a lot of Switch 2 chatter in that circle, I would say.
Not even that they had one or were talking about it?
No. It was a lot of Steam stuff because obviously for indies it's a bit easier to publish on Steam, so I totally get that, and that was the environment. Most demos were on either a Steam Deck or on PC or Xbox, I think, is probably the next most popular like console.
All right.
I talked to a lot of people. I was doing my own personal survey. A lot of people didn't buy it.
Yeah.
And are saying the thing like, I am waiting for X game to come out. Or I'm waiting for like, a lot of people are like, I'm waiting for a different colorway before I get it. Like, I don't like the color. I'm waiting for,
Like you.
I don't know. I was looking at, you and I were looking at those like stickers and you were talking me out of it. Some of them are pretty cute,
it's like a scan or like a decal. I don't know.
I know. I was showing you photos. I'm like, what do you think about this?
It's a lot of sticker to put on this thing.
And you were like, you're going to mess it up. It's not going to be like perfect.
If you're ever going to want to take it off, it's going to probably mess it up or be hard or
it's like
gross.
A sticky residue.
Yeah.
I know. But some of them did look kind of cute. Like they had like ones that had like cherry blossoms on it.
Yeah.
And, like, mint green, like very aesthetic. But yeah, it was great to have it. I really had a lot of fun. Like it just you feel like you have found time when you're trapped on an airplane for 5 hours. You're like, I have 5 whole hours.
Well, that's why I'm so excited. Because again, I'm going to France in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this 12-hour flight.
Oh,
like,
perfect.
I'm not doing anything but just playing Switch 2 nonstop.
Exactly.
Both ways. I don't sleep on planes anymore.
Sleeping.
Period.
Yeah. Period.
I've stopped sleeping. I've become a vampire.
You just stand up straight and close your eyes for 30 seconds, and that's how you recover your energy, right? Yeah. But yes, that's the best part about this is like when you have these moments of like, I am here and I don't have anything else to do, like you have something to do now. Like it just feels like I have all this found time to play these great games, and that's like the best feeling. I did have an issue with the hotel Wi-Fi. I was trying to do game chat with you. Oh. So I was trying to log on to the hotel Wi-Fi and I would connect, but I wouldn't like load the splash page. So that was a little bit of a bummer. I would have liked to gotten on the hotel Wi-Fi to try out, like, I would have liked to try out Mario Kart Online in a hotel to see how it functioned, but I couldn't get on the internet.
Too bad.
So that was a little bit of a bummer.
Probably nothing to do with the system.
No, I think it's more of
bad internet situation.
Bad internet situation, yeah. And it's always like hit or miss at hotels normally, even with the Switch 1. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Yeah. So, yeah. But first trip for my Switch 2 is in the books.
Nice.
You have one coming up.
I do.
Which is even like, you have even more time on an airplane and more time away from home to enjoy the system. And yeah, I'm curious to hear like your take, because you probably will be like on a train.
I will, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. So you can give us your
report back.
Your take, yes.
Yes. If you're here wondering when we're going to talk about the news of the Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct. We're recording this before that has happened, so please look to our separate reaction.
Yes.
Which will be out following that. And we also have a video talking about kind of implications of who potentially is developing this game and what that might mean. And maybe there are some ripple effects down the road that will be interesting to take note of. So that's kind of a good companion piece to what's hopefully going to be in this Direct, which is hopefully some good stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am tempering my expectations because they said it's only going to be about 15 minutes. So we'll see how much information they can get through in 15 minutes. But I'm excited to learn more about this game. I'm
1 month away.
Really looking forward to it.
We're literally a month away from this game coming out.
I can't wait.
So it's time to start turning some attention to that.
As we were talking about this game yesterday for that video about the ripple effect on who's developing might have on Nintendo, I was just getting more and more excited for like a deeper single player experience on Switch 2, like from Nintendo.
Welcome Tour.
No.
It's as deep as it gets.
No.
You go inside the system, Krysta.
No.
Okay.
Boring.
All right. Something that's not boring is the march to 100,000 subscribers for us on YouTube. We are very close.
Boy.
We are at over 98,000. And I imagine if some of you who are watching this now who aren't yet subscribed, just hit that button. We might get there like immediately. So
smash that subscribe button.
This is our humble request to bang the button.
Pow!
Bang it.
Pow!
Boom!
Where's my gavel?
Like you just plowing into a toad in Mario Kart World.
Bam!
Yes.
Like that. Ow!
Yes, just like that.
Please.
Our
yes.
humble request of you. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we are thinking of something fun to celebrate that. We don't know yet.
Yes.
It's kind of crept up on us. We've been very busy, obviously, but we will think of something fun to commemorate and celebrate.
We've been asking our
the
community
great achievement.
what they would like us to do. We have some things that we've been squirreling away as some sort of maybe big giveaway.
Oh, wow.
For 100K. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a big fun moment. Yeah, and it's going to be a big milestone for us. So yeah, it's very exciting.
Great.
All right.
All right, let's not delay anymore and get into our review of the Nintendo Switch 2 and Mario Kart World. But first, we have to shout out our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Factor. If you didn't know, summer is here.
Yes.
And that means
official.
Sun is out, the weather is nice, means you want to spend more time outside. Or I don't know, something I like about summer is it just feels like a good time to do whatever you want to do.
Yes.
Despite how busy we may actually be. It's like, no, now's the time to do whatever you want to do for us. Maybe that means spending more time holed up inside playing a Switch 2.
Yeah.
Or taking a Switch 2 outside.
Right.
But that's where Factor is so perfect to get these pre-made meals that are so delicious, ready in just a couple of minutes. Don't spend all your time working away in the kitchen or going to grocery stores nonstop. No, save your time for the thing you want to do.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, like found time.
Yes.
Like it's so lovely when you have those moments. You're like, oh my gosh, I have an extra hour? I get an extra hour to hang out outside and play Switch 2? That sounds great. So if you're saving that time, you are, able to do what you want. But Factor also has these delicious dietitian approved chef crafted meals. It's really ready in 2 minutes, and then you can just enjoy a lovely meal and get back to doing all the fun stuff that you're doing for the summer, which is just great.
That's right. There's 45 weekly menu options, so you never feel like you're just eating the same thing again and again. And they got breakfast, lunch, they got dinner, they got snacks, they got desserts. We love the juices that we can get from Factor, so you can really plan like a very wonderful and dare I say scrumptious menu
and nutritious.
So many days of the week, yes, and nutritious.
It's better for you than eating junk food all day. Let me tell you that.
Or eating a restaurant food, like you don't think about it because you're not cooking it, but it's like when you actually find it. Oh wait, there's how much butter that went into this?
Sugar.
How much sugar did you put in this? Oh my goodness.
It's pretty scary when you think about it.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So, get started at factormeals.com/KittenKrysta50 off and use code KittenKrysta50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code KittenKrysta50off at factormeals.com/KittenKrysta50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/KittenKrysta50 off.
I'll put the link over here and the QR code for you to scan and in the description below.
Yes, all right. Here it comes, our big Switch 2 review. We're going to go through a couple of different categories and kind of try and talk comprehensively about the system and our experience with it, and then we'll talk about Mario Kart World and give some numbers. Put some numbers on this thing.
That's right. Commit.
Yes.
With numbers.
You must commit.
Yes.
We shall never change this number.
I already see
again.
a frowny face next to the word themes.
We're not. Don't. Jeez. Why did you do that?
Something you can look forward to.
Why did you do that?
I can't
believe
themes.
that. No, we're going to start with the hardware itself. Just comparing like a Switch to a Switch 2.
Yeah.
Like thoughts on what they have built in this new system compared to the old thing.
I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the hardware itself, like as soon as you take it out of the box, you feel how premium it is. And I think it has something a lot to do with the security of the magnets and the Joy-Con.
So too.
Because when you're holding a Switch 1, I recently, like yesterday as I was preparing for this episode, I held my Switch 1 again just to see.
A little rickety there.
And it is. It feels a little more rickety. I mean, granted, it is very old now, obviously, so it doesn't feel like it's fresh
But
out
I think
of the box.
even out of the box, it's no contest.
Yeah,
Not the
yeah.
same as a Switch 2.
There's something, I mean, I complain about the colorway, but there's something about the type of material that is used. I know it's like some kind of plastic or whatever, but it kind of feels more premium than normal plastic.
Yeah, I don't know
somehow.
exactly
what is
it
that
feels
stuff?
closer to metal than to
That's what I was
than
gonna
to
say,
plastic.
too.
There's some sort of like carbon.
It's like, I know it's
something
not carbon fiber,
sleek,
but
yeah.
but it does have that very sort of like, it's not just a plastic thing, plastic
Exactly.
toy
Right.
kind of feeling. It does feel like this really nice piece of, like true technology, like or like a tech product. Everything is just like it feels so like chunked in there, I really like the thinness of it, even though it's like
Yes.
big. It just looks sleek, So all in all, I think the overall quality of the just the way that the system looks and feels is like really high, like really good.
Yeah. Again, I'm sure that there will be hardware revisions down the line in terms of an OLED version.
Right,
Whether
right.
they decide to do a Switch 2 Lite, we'll see. But again, it's not like other Nintendo systems where day one it's like, well, we're starting with this, but maybe in a year or two we'll get
I'll upgrade
We'll
or
get
something.
the actual vision of what they want. It's not
Yeah.
like the DS Fat or something like that.
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like, well, I'm fine with this for now, but hopefully they make some tweaks. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really, in terms of the build of it.
Yeah.
I have a hard time coming up with a lot of strong critiques
Yeah.
of what we've got so far.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
which makes it very similar to the Switch 1, but even then, yes, there are a lot of steps ups in terms of just like the fit and finish of it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, this is really nice thing.
Another thing that I noticed, which is the same feeling that we had when we went from 3DS to 3DS XL, is like when you look at the original thing again, you're
it's
like,
tough to go back.
oh, I can't go back.
What was I doing?
How did I look at this
I've wasted
tiny
my
screen?
life.
Yeah, you do have that feeling where we're like, how did I live like this? Like it was barbaric back then.
I know.
And so you kind of judge whether or not it feels like an upgrade by that feeling, at least
Right.
I do. And so when I did, like again, I went back to just like touch it and hold it and like turn it on and feel it and
Mm-hmm.
see it. And I was like, oh yeah, this is a pretty, like the screen is so much bigger, obviously, just
Yeah,
size-wise.
yeah.
And it's like, oh wow, this is like a true upgrade. Truly like it feels like, oh gosh, I can't go back. I can't play it on this smaller thing anymore.
Right.
So,
Does
yeah.
the topic of OLED, do you see many downgrades with that? It's
Yeah.
obviously not an OLED screen, so maybe that's
Yeah.
one thing where you did see a difference going from the Switch OLED to
Right.
Switch 2.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
something you noticed though?
I did notice that.
Really? Okay.
Especially with Cyberpunk, my beloved. I've been
Oh.
having a lot of issues with the color adjustments
Okay.
in Cyberpunk because it's not OLED.
Right.
And I don't know. I feel like, and I tried all sorts of different ways, like the HDR settings. I did the thing that you were helping me with.
Well, I've got more to say about the HDR
Okay,
in a
maybe
moment.
we can talk about that in a moment. But yeah, I'm a little bummed out because I was so spoiled by that beautiful
Okay.
OLED screen. And even for me, who I always say, like, I'm kind of blind, like, I can't really see, like, my eyes aren't that great, I do notice, especially those, like, deep
Interesting.
colors.
Okay.
I do notice that.
I don't notice it as much.
Hmm.
I think for me, like I'm very simple, and it's like, it's bigger, and it's not like a dramatic downgrade. So I don't see as much of a difference. And I
Yeah.
think there's some of those things, like again, like the transition from LCD to OLED or the whole HDR topic. I feel like some of that's a little bit over my head, and I just don't notice a lot of those differences
That's interesting.
in ways that really impact me. So,
Yeah, I notice it a lot, more so
Huh.
than I think I thought I did.
Interesting.
Yeah, and like even with, like not related to a Switch, but like sometimes I color correct our videos, and you're like,
Yes.
I can't tell the difference. I'm like, oh,
That's true,
huge
actually.
difference. Like if I don't color correct it, it looks like crap.
Yeah.
So
There was a while when I was, this was a long time ago, when I think it was when Blu-rays first came out, and I started, there were some like forums that I started reading about, and I think I was
Yeah.
also like in the market for a new TV at the time.
Okay.
And it was like the most hardcore like AV people in there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they like some of the things that they were talking about, like these people are loco. Like how many people can even notice some of these,
well, sometimes it's like
this pixel is,
Yeah, I
can't-
mean that's like a little over the
like
top.
this is
but-
like the extreme example, but
Yeah.
I just think that the way that I perceive things, is not focusing on those sorts of details for whatever reason.
I would just like to see in the dark. That's the basis of this. Like when I was playing Cyberpunk, I legit could not see it. And if it wasn't OLED screen, I think I could have seen it. Like I was just like, where am I? I can't even see my character. I can't see the background. I can't see anything. I need to turn this HDR off. What's going on? Like it was like, I'm not even talking about does it look bad or good. I'm like, I cannot see in the dark. So
All right.
I don't know.
All right, fine. Let's talk about this HDR because we're going down this path. I've turned the HDR off.
So I did too.
Because I think, and I actually watched a really interesting YouTube video last night from a guy who is one of these like mega AV expert. Like I'm staring at pixels, I'm counting the brightness.
Oh, geez.
I've got a graph of
lumens.
I've got a graph of a lumen or something.
Yeah, lumens.
And he was like, the way that they have taken you through this setup process is really not good.
Yeah.
And it's a failing both of Nintendo, but also these companies that make the TVs, because these two things need to work together for you to dial in the settings. And he's like, a lot on the Switch 2, a lot of the deeper settings of calibration are hidden. A lot of people are going to miss those. It's like you have to press the button and then you see those different images and then you fix it there. But then everybody's TV is different.
Right.
So you you kind of need to do two things. And it's like, unless you're a person like me, like you're probably not going to get it right, and your game is probably going to look bad. And that's
that's unfortunate.
And that's where I found myself. I was like, I don't really know what I need to do to get this to look right. So guess what? It doesn't make a big difference to me. I'm turning it off.
Yeah.
So
too.
take that. But I do think. think
that.
If of any company, I do think Nintendo could have done more, because for a lot of people, this might be their first time really thinking about HDR. Of like, well, what exactly is this? What am I trying to do here?
Yeah, and
what
does
taking
it
them
look
through
like?
that process and helping them make it look right versus like.
Good luck.
Match up the two suns so you can't see. Like, there's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah, Nintendo usually prides itself on being a very like accessible company,
right?
And
they know their audience is very broad.
Exactly, and the Switch 1 audience is very broad. So if you want to get those people to really see like the true upgrade of a Switch 2, it behooves you to like take them through a process in which their game looks the best. Right,
and again, like other HDR content I've seen, like it's different. I wouldn't necessarily say it's better. Again, this is maybe just a me thing. So I was like, this isn't worth the hassle. I'm just turning it off.
Yeah.
So forget it.
Yeah.
But again, like it's not just Nintendo's thing. Like there's this big issue with all of the TV.
Right.
Like how many people out there actually know how to properly like get into like the menus of a TV and do what they want? Probably a very small number.
Just plug it in, connect your streaming service, and go.
So it's an issue with the TV companies as well, but they do need to work together for you to get the right thing. And
they're not going to.
And there's no one size fits all guide of how to do that. So that's my rant about HDR and why I turned it off.
Yeah. I can see a lot of people not even knowing that turning it off is an option too. Like just not because it's default on, and you don't know what really that means. If you're just like a very casual, like setting it up casually, you don't really, you're not like an expert.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a real challenge, and then your stuff looks really bad, and you cannot see. So
yes, you've had some because you play handheld more than I do.
I do.
You've had critiques of the battery.
Yeah, and I did the factory reset.
So you did do that.
I did do that.
And so how do you do that again?
So you turn it off, you power it off. And then you power it back on holding the volume buttons. And that puts you into the factory restore screen.
And what does that look like? Is that some scary...
It looks like a text screen. It doesn't look scary, but it basically says like, here's how you restore your factory settings, blah, blah, blah. And then I follow the instructions in the Nintendo support site. And then you turn it back off again, because that means you have like reset it. And then it just says like continue to monitor the situation.
Get a report on a battery?
You can give them a report.
Oh, you can give them a report.
Yes.
Wow.
You continue to monitor and tell them.
Oh yes, you do the work.
You do the work.
All right. But did you know? But this is an official. Like this is not some trick that some guy like. Oh,
no. This is on the official.
They're officially telling you to try this.
They're official saying that there's something did come out that said there is a known issue on the way the battery is displaying the charge. So it's supposed to be that you actually have more charge than you think. It's just displaying the percentage loss incorrectly.
It's probably something that will be in a patch soon enough that they'll get right. But did you notice any difference after you did that?
No.
No.
I'm continuing to monitor as they have suggested to me.
I do buy that there's potentially an issue of how it's displayed, but I'm just not expecting some like wildly now I can play it for 8 hours. Not like I just don't think that there's some like slam dunk
there isn't
gonna change.
I mean it is what it is.
And this is just kind of the state of all of these handhelds now that are very powerful. They need power to do the powerful things that we want them to do.
You're running a huge game.
You were just traveling for a week, and it doesn't sound like you really had a power. It sounds like the power issues you're having are more at home. Interestingly.
Well, it's not a big deal. It's just more so like I need to plug this in more often than I was before.
Right.
It's just a personal habit change that you need to get used to.
Right.
Your old life
is no more.
Leave your old life behind. Reject, slough off the skin of your old life because you're a new person now. It's a new era.
Okay. Because of a battery.
You need to have one hand on a USB-C at all times and one hand on a switch too.
Okay. You need to be ready to fight a stranger to the death to get a plug.
I got my plug. I'm like,
on a Greyhound.
I'm like swinging like one of those lassos.
Like a morning star. Yeah.
And it like goes
like
into
your Simon Belmont.
That'd be cool. Like you like do that, and it like goes.
You're basically Chibi Robo, is what you are. You've become Chibi Robo.
If I were just holding it on my head all the time,
you can do that.
I would have no issues with
this. You can do that.
My battery problems would clearly be solved.
There you go.
It's really just more so a habit change versus it being like anything detrimental for the system. It's like, I just need to. Last night, I was playing games, my normal gaming hours, which is around 8 o'clock to about 11 o'clock, right? So 3 hours. I had to plug in halfway through that gaming session. And that's what it is.
Okay.
I was playing a little Mario Kart, and then I played a little Deltarune, so it wasn't like two games that were both graphically intense. Mario Kart is very graphically intense, but Deltarune is really not. But around, 9:45, 10 o'clock, it was at about 20%.
Yeah.
So I needed to plug it in for a bit and then continue on. So that's just the thing, that's just the thing, is that you need to kind of change your habits, really. And I'm just getting used to that, It's just something to get used to.
Yeah, my experience with the Steam Deck really did prepare me for this. So,
Exactly.
so I'm not surprised at all. Like, I wish it was better. Maybe some revision down the line will get something that's a little bit better, but it just seems like this is the state of these things. So I don't know what can be done.
I don't think anything can be done.
Yeah,
I think change your habits.
I'm not, like, in this review, I'm not necessarily knocking them for this, because it's like, this is just kind of what the state of this is right now.
It's like for wedding dresses. You don't change Vera Wayne to fit you. You change yourself to fit Vera Wayne.
I'll remember that. Thank you.
For your next wedding dress.
Let's talk about something we do like, which is Joy-Con and specifically a magnet. I love a magnet. We made so much fun of magnets. We owe magnets an apology, I think.
Yes.
I'm sorry, magnets.
We humbly apologize to the magnet.
Yeah. You didn't deserve to be made fun of. You're actually awesome.
Very awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. The feeling that you do feel like it's like pulling your hand a little bit. Like it's like weird. I know it's not because you're a human.
I did do a test to see what happens if you get this little webbing of your hand stuck in there.
It kind of hurts.
It actually hurt a lot. So I don't recommend doing that. Look at this. I'm putting my body on the line for this content, okay?
Exactly.
I'm laying it all on the line.
This is why we are equipped to review this, because you have hurt yourself.
I slightly pinched part of my hand.
Ow!
Ow!
My hand! But it is very strong.
Yes.
And sometimes I kind of want to test it a little bit.
Don't do that.
I kind of want to I want to
You want to rip it off?
No, I just want to wobble. I want to see if I can get it to wobble.
I don't think you should do that.
I know.
I really don't think you should do that.
I don't want to be the destructive.
Yeah.
But it is like, sometimes I'm like, I have a habit sometimes of when I'm playing a game, like I do this thing, it's almost like a sleight of hand trick where when I used to have a Switch 1 and it would come off the rails, I would do this little trick with my hand so that it would go back onto the rails if I was playing a game that was like, I was in the middle of a boss fight or something like that and I can't afford to have the Joy-Con just like fly off the thing. And I almost have like a habit of still trying to do that because I think
you need new
that
tricks.
it's going to fall off the rail, but there is no rail and it's not going to fall off because it's strongly glued in by a magnet.
Again, your old life is over.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like you have like sort of...
Everything you thought you knew is gone.
Oh, no.
Gone. Never to be heard from again.
Okay. Move on.
Do you notice the Joy-Con is a little bit bigger Do you like the feel of the sticks, the buttons?
Kind of feels the same to me, honestly.
I agree. I think it's maybe a slight improvement, but I wouldn't say that it's like a huge. It's not like the Pro Controller style of sticks where it's so smooth and quiet.
Yeah.
And the buttons
right.
the buttons on that are really big. But I do find myself using it more. Again, I had that problem with the connectivity. So where I previously said under no circumstance would I ever play using a Joy-Con grip, I've actually found myself doing that.
Okay.
So that's actually a big upgrade in terms of managing a multiplayer experience. With it actually being a viable option.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I have been playing like tabletop mode a bit too, and I use the grip or use Joy-Con just like one in one hand or whatever, and that's been kind of nice. And by tabletop, I mean I prop it up on a pillow and lay down, and then.
Well, that actually is more viable now
because
the screen is bigger. I think we used to make fun of tabletop a little bit, and we've had some games. Like remember what was the game we were playing?
Broforce. We couldn't see our bros at all. I was like, is that my bro or is that your
small.
bro?
I couldn't see the bros, so I was like,
bros were like 1 pixel big.
This kind of doesn't work. It doesn't pass the Broforce test.
We should try Broforce on a Switch too.
We should actually.
And see if it passes the test.
Right.
We haven't been on a trip together yet because normally when we play tabletop, it's like on an airplane. Yeah. But I've been doing it more than I did it with the Switch 1 at home.
Right.
Like tabletop mode. It's actually pretty good.
Right.
I like it.
The mouse. Would you say that you've gotten full usage of the mouse in a way that you have wanted?
No, I haven't really.
I do have a game later in the games we're playing.
Yeah.
I found a game that is actually best played exclusively with the mouse.
Oh, is it Welcome Tour?
No.
Okay.
That we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Okay. I'm a little disappointed in myself.
Oh, in yourself?
This
okay.
Because.
Will you review yourself at the end of this as well?
Yeah, I give myself a 2.
A subpar grade.
So. Going into this, we were kind of looking for things that made Switch 2 feel like unique from Switch 1. Like, what is the gimmicky thing that's going to be fun for us to test out, especially in like the excitement of the launch time.
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to be most excited to try? I've not found myself that excited to try it for some reason.
Oh, really?
Like, I'll try it for like a second. If there's a game is like, oh, mouse control also exists. Like Rune Factory, I've been trying it with like the build mode and stuff like that. But it just takes me out of my comfortable, cozy, curled up on the couch, playing handheld mode position.
Look. So this game that I'm really building up what this game is. I was on the couch kind of sitting like you were, and I was using it on my thigh meat to move the mouse around, and it was doing just fine. And this was a game that I was playing almost exclusively with the mouse. So I'm actually, again, I think there could be more mouse-forward software, but in terms of the way the mouse works and the things that you can do with it, like I'm very happy with it. I'd say it passed my expectations.
Okay, I don't think I've played it enough.
And then you have I don't know how much is out now that uses 2 mouses at once.
Yeah.
But
we gotta go back to Bravely Default, those mini games with the 2 mice.
Right. I can't say I've done much. In general, that's used 2 mice at a single time. So that's a fun possibility.
Yeah.
When we finally get something that is potentially going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, it's hard for me it's hard to motivate myself to get out of my comfortable,
You gotta put the thing on.
Yeah, I gotta go find the thing. It's like in a drawer somewhere. And
you do kind of need to be prepared to do it. It's not this like in the moment of like, haha, now I'll do this.
That's what I was like wondering about the mouse going into it. Is like, again, is it going to be something that you'll like, it's almost like the glass is 3D. You turn it on, you see, oh, that's cool.
Right.
And you immediately turn it back off. That's kind of how I'm engaging with the mouse right now. It's like, if it has mouse controls, I'll use it. Oh, that's cool. And then I'll immediately go back to the traditional way I've been playing it.
But see, again, this game, I would not want to play this with traditional.
What game is it?
Well, you'll find out.
Oh my goodness.
It's a tease. Anything else you want to say about a Joy-Con?
No.
Graphics. Again, we're not Digital Foundry, and we just talked about how we don't appreciate.
We turned off our HDRs.
We don't appreciate some of the finer things. But are you finding yourself impressed?
Gorgeous graphics.
With the graphics
Beautiful.
capabilities of this system?
Yes, I think it's lovely. It's great. I mean, it definitely feels very on par.
Are you happy with this being your level of graphics for 8 years?
Depends on the game, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have been playing Deltarune. You're not exactly taxing your system to the limits.
So I want to see that Donkey Kong. I want to see those graphics.
Yeah.
I know you were saying that I do play like 90% in handheld mode. I did set up the dock finally at home.
Good. Oh,
and
good.
I have it I have a huge, beautiful, like widescreen HD 4K monitor that I was testing the graphics on. And it does look
Not your
pretty good.
projector.
Not my projector.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my projector is also 4K.
Yeah.
4K 120-inch screen, which is also beautiful. But it's not in the living room because it's too ugly. So it has to be in the other room.
Yeah.
Because I can't stand to look at it in my living room.
So did you try some on that?
I did, and it looks great.
Looks
I mean,
nice,
it's beautiful. Yeah, I played Elden Ring on that monitor too. At some points during my gameplay of that, and that monitor is really nice. It's even newer than my projector, so it's like a super high quality like monitor.
Yeah.
And it runs all my PC stuff. So yeah, it looks really good. It really does look good. I was playing Kanitsugami, which is a beautiful, graphically beautiful game. Mario Kart obviously looked great. Cyberpunk looked amazing. Cyberpunk, every single time I play that game, I'm like, this is on a Switch?
Right.
How is this possible?
Yeah.
It's just incredible. Really, really cool to look at. The other games that I'm playing right now, like you were joking around, like Deltarune is not really graphically like, wowing anything. There's some games that look pretty nice, like a Fantasy Life or like a Rune Factory, but you don't really need the giant 4K screen to know that the graphics are very nice.
Right.
But yeah, I think the graphics are pretty great. Like it's definitely meeting my expectations.
Yeah, I'm very happy with them right now too. We have played almost every launch game to some extent.
Yeah.
And I've been very happy with all of that. I think right now we're in a great period where a lot of games are trying to get to 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
And that's been really nice. I don't expect that that's going to be the case years from now. Like it's just what seems to be what happens. Like when the PS5 came out, it was like, oh, well, now this whole generation will have 60 frames per second games, and like that's clearly not been the case. I mean, a lot of games are doing their best to get there, but there's a lot of games that still aren't.
Right.
So that is something that I think is just kind of going to be a reality as we get deeper and deeper into this. But yeah, and I do expect this kind of really strong march that we've been having over the last couple of years of like maxing out graphics capabilities. Like I do kind of feel like we're at a point where maybe companies are going to pull back a little bit.
It's going to start to plateau a little bit because like what are you going to do? You can't really see it.
It's like we've gone.
Are you going to go 8K?
We've gone so far, and we've started to hit limits, and this is getting really expensive and really hard to do.
Yeah.
And we're at a point where we need to spread these games around. So it's like we kind of need to start developing with the Switch 2 in mind so that we can get this just on as many platforms as we can to make money from all of these platforms.
Right.
So I am optimistic that down the road it'll be a little bit better than the Switch 1 in terms of like, well, now we're in this new generation, so these games just can't come to the Switch 1. Like I'm slightly more optimistic that these developers will find ways to make it happen.
I think we're definitely in a place in terms of graphics in video games where we're almost at that point of like diminishing returns.
Right.
Where like it's going to be so expensive to make it at this certain graphical capability where the user is just not going to be the general like 90% of the user is not going to be able to get that like value out of it.
Right.
So it doesn't. Why would you do that?
Well, that's what Shu Yoshida himself told us when that's a great video. That's a great video. You should watch it.
He's very smart.
He oversaw the studios at Sony himself, so he knows better than anybody. But yeah, I think we saw on the Switch 1 that like if the developer wants to put the effort to get a game on a Switch, like even they can do that when there are all those so-called impossible ports like Witcher and others. And I think that will continue to be the case on the Switch 2, and I think those companies will maybe have a bit more incentive to do the work on a Switch 2.
Yeah. The other thing is Nintendo always has their own little tricks up their sleeve.
Yeah, their stuff will always be great.
Because they know how to just like squeeze everything out of their own hardware, obviously. And we've seen them do some crazy, incredible things, even on like, kind of dated chips and dated hardware and things like that, and still make it look beautiful. So now that we have a brand spanking new thing with a lot of power and graphical capabilities, it's like, well, now you can really cook on this, right? So let's see it. Show us what you got.
I have found myself, like, even on a game like Mario Kart World specifically, which is I wouldn't say, I don't think people would say like, oh, this is a graphical showpiece, but I have found myself like almost in like a trance-like state in these races because it's so smooth and there's so much happening and there's so much detail from every angle.
Totally.
It's like, yeah, it is very, very capable of these, really intense, kind of sucking you in visual experiences.
Again, this is why I have very high hopes for Donkey Kong.
Yes.
To show us that from from first party Nintendo, what can they do with these graphical capabilities? Because I don't think we've quite seen that 100% yet in terms of the launch games. So I am looking forward to that.
Something I do have to ding them for, and I don't know what you're going to ding them on, is the onboard storage. Filled up so fast.
Oh man, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
And again, like we have we thankfully got sent a lot of Switch 2 games to check out, but I foolishly said like, oh, I'll be fine without a SD card until the holidays, and I literally didn't go 24 hours.
I got one too.
Until I had to. You just got one. Yeah.
And I'm like, I would just delete stuff, and I got really tired of deleting stuff.
It's a lot
it's really annoying.
Yeah, it's a lot to go back and forth and add and remove stuff.
Yeah.
So
and these games are just so big.
It does just feel like out of the box, you're kind of in a hole.
You are
a little bit with the onboard storage.
Yeah, once you system transfer everything, you're like, oh no, I have
unless
no space.
Unless you're pretty set with the games that you're playing long term.
Yeah.
It just feels like at some point
tough.
Everybody's going to hit a point where they're.
And I guess these EX cards are like really hard to find now.
For now, yeah. Hopefully that gets better.
And still pretty
Seems
expensive.
Like it should.
So. Yeah, I was only able to get a 256 one for now. So, but that's helped a lot. That's like doubled it basically, right?
Yeah, I have 512, and that feels like I'm very set for a long time.
Yeah,
with
that's
that,
good. Yeah.
Which is good. But yeah, it's just like that's just not very much that they're giving you.
I know.
Right away, unfortunately.
Yeah, it really did feel like I was already playing some kind of like.
I was like, wait,
game Tetris.
I'm already doing this.
Game Jenga, whatever you want to call it. I was like, this is not a. I don't want to be like. Doing like game cleanup here. I want to play some games. Right. I want to download and play some games. Yeah, and it's like, oh.
And the Nintendo software continues to be very reasonably sized, but it's not like stuff like Street Fighter is 50 gigs.
It's like 50 gigs.
Hitman,
54
gigs. 50
gigs.
plus. Like there's a lot out there that are really big, and that's like capitalizing a huge part of the overall storage, unfortunately.
Right. And some of those games you kind of want to keep on your, like Street Fighter, you want to keep that on your system. You might be playing that for a long time.
Exactly.
It's not like you could just delete it, or like archive it or whatever. They do call it delete now, which you were like, that's scary.
They do. Yeah. Let's talk about the system software. A lot of people have criticized the UI because it's more or less the same UI as the original Switch.
Yeah.
Does this bother you?
I mean, I didn't expect it to be any different, I guess. So I was not thinking like it was going to look different. I do like the little like... This is such a small little thing. This is when you know that anything Nintendo gives you, you're just like, I'll eat this up. I do like how like the outline is like prismatic.
What do you mean?
When you select like the buttons and stuff, there's like a little like rainbow kind of glowy thing around it. It's like a little bit more personality.
I don't even know what you're talking about, but
later.
Okay.
I think people know what I'm talking about.
All right.
Like it looks very like very pretty and like. Clean.
Yeah.
But it's boring. It's really boring.
Yeah, I mean, I can see both sides of it. I can see because it's new. People want something new to emphasize the newness, so you can feel something for once.
Yes.
But at the same time, like I didn't really have a lot of gripes with the Switch UI, so I thought it worked fine. And we have seen a lot of other examples of something that comes to my Xbox 360 blades. People love blades, and then they went away from blades, and now it's just like bring back the blades. Also, on the PS3, PSP, and I think the PS4 had it as well. The cross media bar. I really like that. Like I thought that was a super clean way of doing it. And now on the PS5, we got whatever jumbled garbage.
It's really confusing.
Can I bring back the cross media bar?
I'm like, what button am I pressing right now?
Right,
it's so weird.
But again, they wanted to do something new, but that's not always going to mean it's better. So I actually don't have a problem with them continuing this.
You know what I do like on the UI, to give them a compliment, is I do like the Nintendo Switch Online button.
What about it?
Because now you don't have to like download the individual things to play those retro games. You can just go into that section.
Oh, can you just play it out of that?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Oh.
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 Huh. All right, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's just all in that one
The
thing.
one on the bottom?
Yeah.
Huh.
So you can select like GameCube, blah, blah, blah. So you don't have to have that icon on your screen, on your list of icons.
Okay. I'll check that out. I'll check that out.
And then it just you have all those available to you, whatever you...
You hate having things. You really hate having things. You'd love to throw as much away as you can.
Well, it's great that the thing that is under one theme is like packaged in one section of the UI.
I do remember seeing that in some preview image they put out, and I was like, where was that? Where is that now?
Yeah,
so that's where it is.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna look at that as soon as we finish here because I'm curious now.
It's nice
about that. That sounds great.
And you can go directly to like GameCube and directly into Soul Calibur if you want.
That
you
sounds
don't have to like fiddle around with. Let me find my little icon for GameCube games or whatever. So I really like that.
We both like the system transfer process. That's obviously something you're only going to do a couple times.
Yep.
You know.
I miss the music already.
Yeah, where
is the music?
Bring back that music.
Put that on Nintendo Music.
Right. That does feel like one of the just cleanest system transfer processes that you could possibly have. So give them kudos for that. Game chat.
We tried game chat.
We finally got around to doing some game chat.
And you got a Logitech camera.
I did. I got a camera. I did not get the official camera because we actually needed a camera for some stuff around here. So I just got a normal webcam.
Yeah, and it works.
Yeah, it works fine. It seems like they were not quite as... They said, like, oh, any USB camera will work. But I was doing some research. I was like, oh, here's the... People have actually found out, like, there's actually a bunch that don't.
Oh.
So if you're wanting to get a non-Nintendo camera, just check.
Make sure.
Google it.
Yeah, make sure it works.
To make sure.
Yeah.
But, we were a little bit down on game chat going into it, but I think we were very happy with just the functionality
The functionality of it is great.
It works as advertised.
It's absolutely true that it works as advertised. It's very easy for you to smash that C button and get into a room with a friend. And, we were doing all sorts of things that they showed that you could do. So sharing a screen. You were on camera and you put your little head in the game thing. And we were playing different games and the microphone was very clear. We tested out how the range of the microphone. So I put my Switch on a desk and I basically left the room and was like calling to you from the doorway.
And I couldn't really tell a difference.
And you said it was sounded a little far away, but it still picked up everything.
It was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So everything they said about that seems to have been...
Works very well.
Quite legit, even some things that we were skeptical of. So that's great. We even saw the very strange transcript, which is being sent directly to a lawyer. I asked you to say a bad word to see what would happen, and there it was, right in the text, and you freaked out.
No, I said several bad words. I said several words that I'm not allowed to say on this podcast.
Oh, no.
And I was screaming into this microphone like, blah, 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 blah. And then it was like just writing it. And
there it is.
Oh. I was waiting for my Switch to like break right there and then.
You have been banned. So I guess if you're doing it with friends, they're not really worried about filtering anything out. It's like, well, this is what you and your friends do.
It did ask me in the very beginning when I was setting it, because you do have a little setup that you have to do to be able to use game chat. And, we have a pretty extensive friend list, but I turned everybody off except for you.
Oh, people who could game chat with you?
Yeah. Because I was scared, because I have Doug Bowser on my thing. I'm like, please don't call me.
It's going to crash your Mario Kart session?
I'm on the Poconos, Krysta. I saw what you said in your transcript about Nintendo.
I had them print out all of your transcripts before I left for the Poconos, and I'm not very happy with you right now.
And I'm sorry to inform you that you've been banned.
Is printing out game chats the new printing out emails for boomers? Yeah. Can you print out, Susan, could you print out my game chats? I'd like to catch up on those while I'm on the toilet. Thank you very much, Susan. And a coffee with 2 creams, please. Thank you very much.
The game chat's from like 3 months ago. It's like outdated. It's like, this person, what? This doesn't make any sense anymore. Oh man, but yes, it functioned well.
Yeah, so I can see a lot of good. Again, like we previously would do like a Discord call, and then sometimes you have the weird thing where it's like, well, I got one headphone going in here from the phone, I got one headphone going in from the game. It's like this does actually simplify
you can
that quite a bit.
adjust the volume, which is cool. Like you can adjust the game volume and the speaking volume, so you can toggle those so that you can hear both, which is really nice.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great start for that. Actually, I still don't know if it's like this killer app that they are positioning it to be, because again, it feels pretty on parity with now like what other systems have and
They have that in the
had
first
for a
place,
while,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
nice to get modernized and have
Sure.
basic features
That work
now
really
that
well.
you always wonder
Yeah.
if Nintendo ever will.
Yeah,
so
and
that's
if
nice.
there is a game that is like if you know, if we had never played Split Fiction, if we didn't play that game already
Yeah.
and it's our first time playing on Nintendo
do it that-
Switch,
yeah,
I would
perfect.
100% game chat
Exactly.
with you to play
That's how we
Split
would
Fiction.
do it. Yes.
Because that is a game where you truly need to communicate with the other person to play, and it's a game that you can only play in co-op. So
Right.
if they had a lot more games that came out for
Right.
some, you know, for that utilize or like really you needed to use that kind of communication, like I would totally use it. I would totally use it.
Yeah.
But I can't see myself doing that thing where it's like you and I are just hanging out on game chat.
Every night it's like, oh, let's hang out.
And then
Yeah.
I'm playing Deltarune
Yeah.
and you're playing.
But I'm sure some people
you know,
will.
whatever.
I'm sure some people
Yeah, that's
will.
just not the way that I play games.
Yeah.
But some people do that, and I think it will work well.
Live
for
out
them.
your long distance relationship through game chat.
romance.
Keep the spark alive through game chat.
Romance.
Can Paul Rudd get on that?
What?
Can they
Oh,
do it?
Paul Rudd.
Can Paul Rudd get going on some new ad spot with this?
Oh, I want to see some kind of like love story.
yeah.
Like we met playing
That's gonna
Mario
be
Kart.
that's gonna be the European ads.
That's like the meet cute.
Yeah.
You know how they have like rom-com
And then
meet
they finally
cutes?
meet up and that's where it stops.
That's where the chatting stops.
These European commercials, it's for a small tangent. Like sometimes we would
They're
do
too sexy.
at these like global marketing
it's
reviews.
almost two people in bed.
It's like, and now we're showing the European commercials. Like, oh, this is very different from the U.S. and Japan.
It's like
wow.
two really extremely hot
Yeah.
people in bed together. And you're like, where are we going with this? You certainly are not
All
ending the
right.
night playing some
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, let me tell you. You're breathing something else. Anyways, this is getting on a tangent.
Yes.
But I would love to see the game chat meet cute rom-com
Yes.
premise story.
Yeah.
If you have one,
Great.
share it in the comments because I
Great.
want to know.
The new eShop seems
It works.
much better. Seems to work.
Fast.
I do have some small skepticism about, like, again, in a year or two.
Is it gonna get bogged
Is it going to
down?
get bogged down or jammed up with something? I don't know, but I like it so far. It doesn't have, you know, there previously was that load, like, that like,
yeah.
loading screen. Like, you don't even have that.
That's a good noise that you made for
It just
that.
goes right into it.
Yeah.
So, like, there have been sometimes it's like, oh, out of the blue, it's like, oh, this thing I wanted to check on the eShop. Has Saints Row gone on sale?
Oh, God.
Because I've been checking that daily.
Can you not favorite that to
I
alert
did.
you? Okay.
I did, but I still like to check it, so I can quickly do that and then pop right back into my game. So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, I don't really have.
Have you looked at your recommendations recently? I have not looked for a
No.
while. I should look again to see if it's
I was
learned
shocked.
about me.
Yours were very basic. It's like, have you considered Kirby? Have you heard of Mario Party?
Mine really keeps recommending Princess Peach Showtime to me. Every single time I look there, it's like, do you want to play Princess Peach Showtime? I'm like, I don't actually.
We found a girl.
It's
She
like
needs to
based
buy-
on her me, she's a girl.
You must buy this. Yeah.
Or else you'll be banned.
Yeah.
You have 3 minutes
Yeah.
to buy this game, or else you'll be banned.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that I could see myself checking.
Yeah, I need to check it. I'll check it after
occasionally.
this.
Yeah,
Check it
that's
after
it's a
this.
nice feature. No themes, sadly.
Themes, sad face.
I do not care about themes. I know a lot of people really care about themes. I don't know if we'll be getting themes in the future, but again, it is not impacting my experience. I would rather be in a game playing it
Than customizing the UI.
admiring a theme.
Yes,
Yes.
I agree. I think it'd be nice to have. Obviously, always nice to be able to add a little personality to your stuff.
Yeah,
but
I think they had reasons for not doing it
Yeah.
in the past. So with the additional power, to be seen if they do that or not.
Yeah, I think so too.
Some more nebulous things here now that we've gone through the system and the UI. The value.
Yeah.
This thing's $450, $500 if you're getting a bundle. Do you feel like you have gotten what you paid for?
Well, I don't think it's a system that should be considered a value. I think this system should be considered a premium.
We're talking about the concept of value, though.
Oh. I think
Does it feel like it's
what
balanced?
I paid for. I think I got what I paid for.
Yeah.
I think I got what I paid for. Yeah.
I think so,
But
too.
but I think that the equation in my head is not like I'm getting a deal on this based on other things.
No.
It's more so like I am saving up to buy a very
Yeah.
expensive entertainment thing that I'll be using for a long time.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I will be using this for a long time, and what I have feels premium, and which is why I pay the premium price for it. Yeah.
The prospect of paying $70 to $80 for games going forward, how do you feel about that?
As long as there's games that are not $70 and $80 also that I can choose from, I hope not every single game is $80.
As far as
obviously,
the big stuff.
the big stuff I can. Yeah, I mean it's just what it is. It's one of those things where you just have to accept it.
Right.
I don't think Mario Kart World is an $80 game. I paid $50 for that game because I bought the bundle, and that I feel good, very good about that. I feel like that game is a good $50 game, especially given the fact that I probably will be buying DLC for this game, and in the end, it's probably going to cost me like $300 over the life cycle of this game.
Yeah.
So at launch and in this base form, I'm
Not
glad.
Yeah, not right now.
I'm glad that I only paid $50 for that, for Mario Kart World. But if they come at me with like the next Zelda game at $80, I think I will be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very like practical take on this, which is just like, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
like,
you can't do anything.
Buy it or not, and it's
Yeah.
like in most cases, like these are the games that I want to play. So I'm certainly nobody's going to be happy that the price of the thing they want to get is more expensive. But what am I not going to play it?
Exactly.
And some people will. They're like, yeah, this is
too much for me.
The value equation in my mind is no longer making sense. It's like, yeah,
then I won't get it.
That's great.
You have to make that decision for yourself, is the thing. Like everybody's concept of value and everybody's, your situation in terms of your own budget, you have to make those decisions for yourself.
But I do think there will be some games this generation where like I see the price tag, it's like, I don't think so.
Well, there's a lot of games now that I just won't try.
Yes.
There used to be a lot of games where it's at a price point where I'm not really sure about this, but I'm willing to pay to give it a try. That ship has sailed. There's no more of that.
Yeah.
It's basically like I will vigorously and do a lot of research and make sure that I'll definitely like this game and I will play it and I will beat it and I will play it for 30 hours or whatever before I buy it.
And this is something that I'd gone through more on the PS5 over the last couple of years, where there are games that I'm interested in that I want to play that just like I'm not paying 70. Like Warhammer Space Marine 2 was one.
Yeah.
Where like I was very much looking forward to that. It was $70, and I was like, I don't think so. And I waited for it to be on sale for like $50.
There you go.
And it's like, all right, that's fine. So I just think there might be more games like that.
Exactly.
Where it's like, well, I'll be waiting for a sale unless I'm really dying to get this day one.
Exactly. Unless everyone's like, this is a must play. If you like these kinds of games, you can't miss it. Like there's like, all these reasons that are like a sure thing. Like I'm not willing to take a chance anymore because it's too expensive.
Yes. Welcome Tour you did not play, but are you mad about it being $10 and not packed in?
I don't care anymore.
We've moved
I don't
on.
care.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever wants to buy it, great, and if you like it, great. You seem to have been enjoying it.
You
and
can make a very
mind.
strong.
I don't care.
You can make a very strong argument both ways. I've been playing it. I think there's definitely $10 worth of content there. But,
great.
But again, like you could totally make the case that they should have packed it in as well. So I actually don't want to spend too much time on that.
We're going to be playing Welcome Tour as our.
Yes. I'm forcing you to play.
I know, I'm getting forced. I have to make it right with Nintendo after my disparaging comments in the game chat transcript. So I'll be playing my punishment will be playing Welcome Tour for several hours and taking a quiz.
Perfect. Good. The launch lineup. So obviously this is going to have games for many, many years, but this is kind of what we know of now. Mm-hmm. Was this a good launch lineup in your eyes?
I think so. I mean, again, we were very lucky because so many wonderful third-party developer friends sent us so many games to play. So I have been extremely happy with all the dabbling that we've been doing. Like, I basically have, like, no attention span over the span of, like, 30 minutes. I'm jumping from game to game all the time. And I actually kind of like that. But we were both saying, like, oh my gosh, that's such a different experience than what we had with Switch 1, where, the launch game was this big, immersive single player experience with Breath of the Wild, and you were just, like, locked into that single game. No one was dabbling. We were all just collectively, as, like, a hive mind, playing Breath of the Wild, and that was, like, a moment of just like a moment in time as well. It's a little bit different because yes, Everyone is definitely playing, us included, playing Mario Kart, but it's not the kind of game that you can play, at least for us, that you can play for like 10 hours straight. Mario Kart, you're playing like alongside other games. You're like, for me at least, I play like, every day I play like at least, 2 hours of Mario Kart like throughout the day. I'll play a couple races here and there, do a little free roam, get a costume, and then you move on to another game. So it actually worked well for Nintendo, I think, that there was so many third-party games because then you could move on to those other games.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it. A lot of people were saying, like, gosh, I really wish there was this big immersive single-player experience at launch, but this is why we get Donkey Kong.
At least we're not far from one.
In like a month,
Yeah.
so we can get into that once we finish dabbling. So honestly, I think I'm okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's the best launch lineup ever. We did that in a video, actually, ranking all the launch lineups.
Yeah.
But I think it's maybe not, it's just, a notch or two down from those. It's definitely a far cry from the Steel Diver, Pilot Wings Resort, like nightmare that we lived through.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, and I understand the comments of, there's too many ports out there. It'd be great to get more original games. It does seem like these third parties didn't have a ton of time with these dev kits, so I think they were just really like, what can we actually do to get a game out at launch?
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a little bit down the road of more of the original games, and I'm looking forward to that. But frankly, like, it's been fun to go through some of those ports and experience some games and some franchise like Hitman. I never really played any of those modern Hitman games, and I really like it a lot. So I have enjoyed the opportunity to look through those. And the ports are well made. Like I haven't really found one that's like, this is sloppy, this isn't running well, like this just didn't look like they put much effort into it. Like everybody seemed to have done a good job with it. So I don't really feel too bad about that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the ports are really well made. And also, like, the backwards compatibility part of this has been...
It's amazing.
An amazing part of, like, launch games is, like, this, trend of people going back to their old games, us included, and seeing the visual and performance upgrades on Switch 2. That's just been really fun.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh. And yeah, there's so many people that are like, I put this game on hold because it ran so badly, and now I'm going to pick it back up again. I'm going to finish this game. That's exciting, That just extends the library, I think, which is really nice. So, and I definitely have games that I want to go back and check out again, like Animal Crossing and things like that, where I'm like, oh, I kind of want to get back to my island now that it doesn't have a crazy long load time,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited about going back to some of these Switch 1 games that was basically like, at some point, I was like, this is unplayable now. I cannot play this game. So yeah, that's great. I like that a lot.
GameCube, it's probably not super high on the list of everything that I've been playing, but it seems well implemented. There are only 3 games. I think a lot of this is going to come down to how often they add more games to that.
Here comes the drip feed once again.
Yeah, I mean, they just have a lot of platforms now to support.
They do.
And I don't think they've committed to anything as
the
far as...
The GameCube library isn't that big, though. So they could get through that pretty quick.
Right.
Right?
Well, it depends on what their pace is of releasing games. But, I mean,
where's my Mario Strikers?
There's a great foundation here for them to have something that really is a big value for people who are on the high-end NSO tier that you can't get. And really experience a whole generation again. So I think that's great.
I've definitely booted up and checked out every single GameCube game, and it looks great. It runs well. I like the implementation of it a lot. So
it's a bit early to say like what the status of indies on the system is going to be. Because again, like not everybody had systems ahead of time, and we're even still hearing from developers who are like, it's
impossible.
It's a nightmare.
People keep getting rejected
to get a dev kit right now to make games. So I am not concerned yet, but I'm concerned. I want to see them continue to make this. You're already concerned.
I'm already pretty concerned.
Well, you were in Toronto talking to these people for a week, so I wasn't.
I was concerned for them. Yeah, I do feel like the unfortunate sort of the thing that gets kind of backburnered by Nintendo will be indies.
This is what happens. Every company that gets big this is always what happens. They
So unfortunate.
They downgrade on indies, unfortunately.
It truly is.
It's the wrong move for them to do.
Such a wrong move, and I always like just facepalm. It's like, you know that this happens, and you can stop this, but you won't, and it makes me mad.
Yeah.
But I see it already. I see it already where, you know, they're really focused on prioritizing AAA third-party games.
Yeah.
Because money talks, you know, and these people are...
Those are the big name partners.
Those are the big name partners,
right?
Exactly. This is like the feather in your cap partners versus like the unknown indie.
And talking to one EA is like talking to like 100 indies. So just in terms of like, it's easier for them to do that.
Exactly.
And feel like, yes, we bagged them.
Yeah.
Versus like, of these 100 games, like how many of these are going to work out or how many of these are going to actually come out? Like you don't know.
Yeah, it's more risky.
It's a bit more risky,
yeah.
but we've seen on the Switch, like this is a really valuable category of games that they really need to keep up with them.
I feel really scared about the discoverability of indies as well on Switch 2. Like I just feel like...
Worse than Switch 1?
Yes.
How?
I don't know. I just feel like they're just going to like really surface up the AAA and even the AAA indies. You know, there are indies that are like not really indies anymore.
Yeah,
let's be real.
They don't need help.
You don't need help. Yeah. You're like good. Like give it to the person that has an amazing game that no one knows about. And like it makes me really sad. Like I think about this a lot now, and especially because I was in Toronto with these wonderful, talented developers. Is like I think that in this world, there's probably like 99% of games that you never see, you never know about, just because you haven't discovered it, because you don't have a way of discovering it, and there's no way to, like, think about the great games that we're missing in this moment right now, like so many.
Why are we even doing this podcast?
Forget it.
It's over.
It's over. Turn it off. Turn it off. God. So yeah, I'm feeling very uneasy about indies in the Switch 2 generation. I feel like it's going to take a real back seat. And it's really unfortunate because like when Switch 1 became like, quote, the indie machine before like Steam Deck got big and stuff like that, it was so awesome. And like I myself discovered so many amazing, like changed my life kind of games. And just to think that it's going to be that much harder or even impossible to do that in the coming years is just sad. So I'm pretty concerned about this.
Is this a Switch Pro or is it a Switch 2?
It's probably a Switch Pro.
What would a Switch 2 be then?
I don't know. More, I guess, of something else.
More of what?
I don't know.
More of what?
Too hard.
A portable PS5?
It's too hard.
My answer is I don't care. I think they're probably closer to each other than we think.
They're very close to each other.
It's amazing how like the specter of the Switch Pro has just like lived on and like clouded the way people perceive things now for all this time.
It is what it is for any iterative approached hardware.
Right.
That's what it is. And if that's the world that we're in right now, then is PS4 to PS5 a PS4 Pro or a PS5?
Exactly. Well, they released a PS4 Pro.
That's true.
So it's not.
So it's not. There you go. There you go. That's how you
Checkmate Sony.
That's how you get away from that.
Yeah.
That's how you get away from
get out of that conversation.
Your half step.
Exactly.
Your little half step. Yes.
But is this something? So in 8 years, it will be 2033.
I don't really
and that's when that's the prospect of when we might be getting a Switch 3 or the next Nintendo system. Are you comfortable with this being? This is the thing I have.
They're probably going to do like an OLED or something like that.
Well, fine, but it's basically the same thing.
As long as there's games.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing.
That is the same. That is always my answer to these kinds of like, how is the life cycle, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're going to entertain me, Dance Monkey for 8 years, then dance.
Yeah, I mean, I was still very impressed with a lot of games that were coming out on the Switch 1. So I there were obviously times where I felt like it was getting a little creaky and a little bit old.
Yes.
But yeah, as long as they can lock up these games and have big first-party experiences, then I'm on board.
Exactly. And you know what? For us, too, it doesn't feel as bad, I think, because this is not our only platform. We play every single platform. Yeah. So I'm very entertained. Like, if the Switch 2 by year 5 is, like, boring, I'll be playing something else on a different platform.
Okay.
You know? So that there's a million choices for me, the player. Again, very lucky that we are able to have that diverse like entertainment option. For some people, it's very different, where it's like, oh my gosh, like this is the only thing I got.
Have you considered reading a book?
You can read a book.
Have you ever done that?
I love reading a book.
Okay, good.
I would love reading a book.
Just double checking here.
Yeah. Watch a movie, read a book,
balance entertainment. No,
have a conversation.
not a screen, a book.
Oh, an actual book.
Crack open a book. Have you been to a library recently?
I have not. Have you been to a library recently?
No, it's fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have cracked open a paper book, though.
Oh, good. That's
I think it was a comic book.
Oh, good. Good, good.
Or a graphic novel, if we're trying to be more adult about it.
Okay, yes.
But yeah, that's the thing with the world that we live in now. Like, if you're going to be boring, then I'm going to move on to a different thing.
Exactly. And I mean, that's kind of the fact of
and that's your loss, because you just lost a customer.
Right, and that's kind of an interesting segue to us talking about Mario Kart in a little bit. Is that's kind of a challenge that game has as well. Is like you just have to constantly be banging the cymbals over here.
That's what I'm saying.
Again, another
dance monkey.
Another monkey doing something over here. Like, oh, look at this! I got a thing. It makes it so hard to be a platform holder because people, have so many options and can be so easily distracted. But you got to do it.
Yeah.
You have to.
You have to. That's the only way to maintain relevancy.
Yes.
It is a wheel that never stops turning, and these days people's attention spans are like of a fruit fly.
Yes.
Mine included.
Especially yours, my gosh.
Especially me.
Yeah.
So if you can't just like keep me, you're not like shaking the keys in front of my face the whole 8 years.
Yeah.
Or with anything, I'm like, I'm moving on. I have other things. I got 5 million options of things that I can do to entertain myself.
And that's what they were especially good at doing on the Switch 1, which was
absolutely
always having a game. And it's too early to say if they can keep that up on the Switch 2.
That was the best part.
For first-party games.
That was the best part, because every month you'd be
was always
like,
something.
Oh, next month I'm playing that. Awesome.
Yeah,
I already put that on my calendar.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, you're ready, like, I'm getting ready for that. I was like, and then by the time you get like a little bored of that, or you just beat it, you're like, oh, cool, the next one is coming.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel good that we'll have that through the end of this year, and we need to see what the future holds. But that was a great trick that they pulled off on the Switch 1, and hopefully they can keep it up. But these games are bigger and more complicated to make, so maybe they won't. We don't know. Yeah,
we'll have to see, and maybe they'll have third parties that can fill in the gaps or whatever to help them out.
Right.
But that is truly how you extend, that truly is the only way. There's no like silver bullet magical approach. Like, that is the way to keep a console life cycle going, is just continuing to have games that people want to play.
Yes.
So
let's stop here before we go on to Mario Kart. Give our numbered final scores.
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
Any 0.5s?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
For the Nintendo Switch 2.
I will give Nintendo Switch 2 a score of 8 out of 10.
I'll give it an 8.5.
There you go.
Out of 10. So very close.
Very close.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's good.
All right.
Right.
Not a 7 out of 10. This is not IGN.
This isn't IGN.
I saw IGN does have the shirts. The 7.
They do.
I was like, I
kind of want one.
I might get one of those actually.
In the little like hexagon, the hexagon thing.
It's exactly like that.
Awesome. It's awesome.
Let's talk about Mario Kart, and this will not be an hour-long review of Mario Kart World.
Why not?
But we do want to talk about that. So I think that this is a game that has a lot of great things going for it. Also has a number of issues, but every issue that this game has is something that they can fix and hopefully will address.
What are the issues?
Soon enough.
What are the issues?
I don't think this game is particularly sticky as it is right now. I think what you can do are try and explore the open world and kind of, I don't know, there's not really anything like tracking or helping you find these milestones that you're looking for. I kind of come to grips with what it is, but I think there's a little bit more that they could do to make to give you kind of point you in the right direction of stuff. Like, oh, there's really nothing there now.
Yeah.
But I've come to grips that it's not going to be this big, grand open world, but there is stuff to do there that can be fun if you're in the right mindset or kind of in the right mood for it. That's a change of pace from the racing. They could just do a little bit more to give you a push towards
like a replayability
towards all of that.
Kind of motivation.
Not replayability, but again, finding the P switches. Maybe a little bit more like reward in terms
you're
of
speaking specifically about free roam.
yes, I'm speaking of that right now.
Okay.
In terms of rewards for all of those things, like I got a tiny sticker that I can't see on my car. I just don't care.
Sure.
Racing now racing online is really fun
Yeah.
and really great, but I do think I'm going to hit a point where
You might get bored of it.
I'm going to get a little bit bored. So either they're going to need to add more content, or I think they should do this yesterday as some sort of like weekly challenge, monthly challenge. Again, that comes with some sort of a little incentive, or there's some sort of challenge to try to give people some one-upsmanship. There's really nothing. I'm kind of surprised that the game doesn't have that, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Because other like Splatoon is great at this kind of thing. Of like, oh, this is just happening for a little while. You should go back into the game and check it out. And again, we're still in like the first month of the game, so just experiencing it on its own is enough. But I think if they want to have that longevity, like a Mario Kart 8, just the way people interact with games is different than it was back in 2017.
Yeah.
They should start thinking about that stuff if they haven't already. I think the whole driving between courses, I like that a lot, but I've heard enough people say, like, I just want to drive the courses. Like, they should give you more options in terms of doing that or not doing that, of just let people do it the way
they want
the
to.
way that they want. Because I mentioned this on last week's podcast, I don't really feel like I have a great feel for the courses themselves, because so much of it is doing something other than the course.
Right.
Where it's like, tell me, the 5 characteristics of this course. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah. Or
because,
do you know what their shortcut is or
right,
whatever? Yeah.
I can't because I just haven't done enough reps in them, because the reps have been driving on a freeway. I love the freeway stuff actually myself. But there have been times where it's like, I'd like to just be able to sit down
and just do 3 laps on that course.
And just do that. And the game doesn't seem to have that yet. So there's a couple of the things that it's like, well, right now, this is kind of like, I'm not loving, but these are all things that they can fix and they hopefully should fix.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I feel like, I kind of had a kind of swing in terms of expectations going into this game. Like when I first heard about it, way back in April, it was like over the moon hype where I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto Mario Kart. Like Forza Horizon, this is true open world. Like, oh my God, this is gonna change my life. And then when I saw the Mario Kart Direct, I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting a better sense of like the scope of the game a little bit more. And I still was like thinking like, what is the scope of this game? So now finally going into this game and like experiencing it and then like playing like a lot of it, I'm more inclined to just, really like be settled with, this is still a Mario Kart game. They didn't really push the envelope like that far away from the core concept. I mean, it looks beautiful. It's really fun. The modes are good, but they didn't do anything to like change up what Mario Kart is. Different than like Breath of the Wild changing up the entire Zelda formula. It's not that. And because I've come to terms with that, I think, I'm now just playing it like any Mario Kart game. So I agree with you that since this is just another Mario Kart game, a very good, beautiful, modern Mario Kart game, but since it's just another Mario Kart game, they do need to give you incentive to keep coming back and replaying it. And because you are playing it like another Mario Kart game where you are playing it for, bursts of time or like as a part of playing it alongside other games. You're not like only playing, at least for me, I'm not just only playing, 10 hours a day of Mario Kart World. They're going to need to give me interesting things to come back to the game for.
Exactly.
Right?
Once Donkey Kong comes out, what is taking you back to Mario Kart World?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
So it's like I'm asking, is this game going to be more of a Splatoon where they have a big plan and they plan on giving you a lot to do, or is this more of like the Animal Crossing New Horizons where it's like, oh well, we had this one thing planned, but we were kind of caught by surprise, and oh well, we're just moving on. Like they really have no excuse if that's the case, because that's basically what happened with Mario Kart 8, and they did the booster course pass. It's like, I sure hope they have the full plan mapped out for the next 8 years now, and that we're actually not far from that starting to get implemented.
Yeah, it does feel like it's almost like the base, the foundation of something, but not the finished product.
This game is only going to get better, is the fact. So, like, again, anything we say about it now, like, refers to this, like, 1.0 version.
Yes, exactly.
Where I actually would expect my feelings on it to improve.
To grow.
To improve over time.
Yeah, and I think they will add those kinds of things to keep you coming back. Like they know that works.
Yes.
If they want to sell 63 million copies, they know that works.
Right.
They know that is how you do it. I really, really, really like the idea of Splatoonifying. That's not a word. This game. Like I hope they are talking.
Yes.
Bring a consultant in from the Splatoon team. Because we know they don't like to talk to each other. But if they could just please talk to each other about that. Because this is exactly what they need to do for this game. They need to have like festivals and special events.
Right. That's what makes this game worth $80.
Exactly.
Because right now it's like you're probably just
$50.
because you're squeezing an extra $10 out of people for it. It's like I'm not yet seeing the vision for the grand
plan.
Oh my goodness, the scope and the experience is so much a step above anything else.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not really seeing that yet.
It's feeling like a good Mario Kart
But again,
game,
I have the confidence that is coming.
Yes.
But again, like I think people are going to want that sooner than they might think.
Because people, again, have the lowest attention spans ever.
And they have so many other options.
Any moment, they can be pulled away into something else.
Just go back to Fortnite.
Right. They do events. Sabrina Carpenter is
Nobody
there.
does it better than them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can hear Darth Vader say a swear word. Can you hear Waluigi say a swear word?
In your mind.
In your game chat transcript? No, you cannot add that. But yes, it does feel like this is like the foundation of a really cool Mario Kart experience that we will have for 8 years. And I just really hope that they start to just like do it,
Right.
Add the stuff, do the challenges, give you new modes, give you new incentives.
Yeah.
Like they know how to do it. They've done it for other games that they've made. They've done it for Mario Kart in the past. So I think that this feels like the foundation, but not really like the full-fledged experience right now. But
what is your take on the open world?
I think it's kind of boring. I'm really just like the things that I was looking forward to the most, both on the hardware and software side, have been things that I'm not interested in at all. Like I'm not motivated.
Oh.
Like I'm not motivated to use the mouse.
Yeah.
I'm not motivated to free roam.
Right.
Like I just don't
There's
feel
other
the
just
motivation.
like very small kind of details in the free roam that take you out of it. So like if you're doing a P-switch challenge and you don't get it, like you can restart it.
Yeah.
But it takes you back. It's like to even before you drive into the P-switch, you see the whole course ahead of you. You have to drive. It's like I'm wasting like 20 seconds. It's like I just instant restart back on the thing. Like there's so many times it's like I'm kind of done with this.
You need like the Cuphead game experience.
Yes.
Where immediately, if you fail the boss, you just immediately get back to it.
Exactly. That's like a very small detail.
That's when you say sticky. That those are the little things that make it sticky or not sticky.
Right.
Though,
so like I don't really ever do free roam for more than 15 or 20 minutes because I'll do a couple of those if I can. If I can't, it's like I just move on to another one.
So the only reason why I was doing free roam was I was getting costumes.
Yeah.
And I was getting coins.
Yeah.
But now I've unlocked every cart.
I do. There is a surprising amount of like little hidden details that are fun as Nintendo fans to find out and just chuckle at and appreciate.
There's
like,
a lot of little Easter eggs.
Right, like when like you have to be like clear when people say like, oh, there's nothing in the open world. It's like, well, it depends what you're looking for. Because there's different layers of things.
Yeah.
That maybe means nothing to some people.
But means something to others.
Part like for example, for me, like that stuff is like Like I enjoy
It's fun,
hunting that out and finding it, like the billboards in the city, like
Yeah.
the Birdo,
The Birdo Prada.
luxury store.
Birdo
Like
Prada,
I
yeah.
got a great. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was fun playing with somebody else because then you can help each other point
Right,
out those
right.
things. Like when we did free roam together, that was fun. But by myself, I'm motivated by like other things, you know. There's just not enough in there to
Right.
keep me in there.
I mean, this kind of conversation in the month leading up to the launch of like, oh, is there one more thing? Is there a hidden secret? And yes, they did a bad job of expectation management, of teasing the direct and all. But it's like I think we were like, well, maybe there should be one more thing beyond what we've seen, which is a pretty standard Mario Kart experience where they have changed the way that you do tracks and you're driving around in a different way.
But at its core, it feels like Mario Kart.
Maybe it's one thing light at the moment.
And even the moment that I booted up that game and started playing it, my visceral reaction was feels like Mario Kart. It wasn't. This is Mario Kart like I've never seen before. Literally, my when I jumped into it for the first time, it's like feels like a beautiful Mario Kart.
Yeah. The other criticism I have, and this is actually something I don't know if they would want to fix, is I still would not. I would say that using like the driving on the walls, the grinding, that still remains like the domain of really more expert level players. Like even 2 weeks in, like I still struggle to consistently do a lot of that stuff. And I don't know, again, if it's something they did by design of, no, this is not for everybody. Because if it is, it's not easy enough for everybody to do it. I wish it was easier, but I don't know how they feel about it.
How do they balance that?
It could completely, is it going to completely break the game if it's easier to do? Like sometimes there's like a rail and it's like I should be able to just do a normal jump and get on that, but I have to do the thing where I charge it down for the 3 Mississippi, and then by the time I've done that, the thing is gone.
Right.
And I've missed that. Or it's like sometimes like I will see like, oh well, if I did that, then I could jump off of that. But it's like, well, I should have seen that 3 seconds ago so that I could do it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things like that. I would like that. Again, they may think completely differently about that.
I've been doing time trials.
Yeah.
Just to try out those things.
Yes.
Because I see them when I'm playing like Knockout Tour online and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I honestly don't see a lot of other people doing it though too, is the thing. Like I keep telling people, I'm like, I go into these online races. This is exactly
for the 1% of Mario Kart racers.
I want to see what the other people are doing. I love that. Like, who is the person that I should be watching on YouTube right now that is like tricking out in Mario Kart? Like, tell me the let me one shot her version of the Mario Kart player. Like, whoever that is.
There's some crazy stuff out there.
Please show yourself.
There is some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I want to find more of those things. I imagine there'd be more, but I haven't really seen that much more. And I mean, in my own experience, like I think they put you in with like your coin.
You mean your online rating? Yeah, I think there's a range that they.
Yeah, I'm in like in the 6,000s or whatever, so not high. But like in those groups, like people are just drifting.
Yeah.
I rarely see like some trick, you know, a wall. Wall running or some kind of like, we'll do it a little bit.
Right.
Like people do it a little bit, but it hasn't become like an integral part of that racing experience yet, because it is a pretty difficult thing to execute, and you don't have enough. You have to like, and back to your point about not really knowing the courses that well.
Yes.
So it's like, I don't know the courses that well, and it takes me 3 Mississippis to execute it. So by the time
there's just not a lot of opportunities to do it.
The rail comes up, oh, shoot, I was supposed to do that. I missed it again, So I feel like those things, maybe if they did want more people to do that, they may need to balance that a little bit better, like difficulty-wise. And I think more ways for you to like kind of do things to see all the things that they've put into this game would be really nice, The
last criticism that I've seen, and I don't know how I feel about it, is about the rubber banding.
Oh yeah.
It's worse than ever, and I've certainly been victim to it a lot.
We had a really fun, our first Patreon 1UP Club meetup for Switch 2 was just a few days ago, and we played Mario Kart World. It was probably our biggest meetup to date because everyone was so excited to play together, and we had a lot of fun like doing Knockout Tour, but I noticed that the rubber banding was really, really bad.
So on one hand, yes, it maybe is worse than ever. But on the other hand, like that is kind of a core dynamic of Mario Kart. Otherwise, you just have a racing game where you might end up in last place and like,
that's it.
What are you supposed to do? Be good at it? No, you need to get the blue shell or something. You need to get the bullet bill.
It's like Smash, where you get the big hammer
to catch up. It does feel like it's maybe starting to veer into like the Mario Party range. Where it's like,
and then you get a random star, and then
where
you
it's like
win.
don't be in first place. Actually, so I don't maybe tone it down. I certainly wouldn't want them to get rid of it because again, that's fundamental to Mario Kart. But again, I just don't know how they as developers are like, no, we like this tuning, we like this balancing, we like the chaotic, anything can happen nature to it.
Yes.
So I would say I wouldn't say it's perfect, but you also can't get rid of it.
It is just brutally, just a brutal feeling when you're at the gate, the Knockout Tour gate, and you go from like second to like 21st, and you're like, next race.
It is.
Yeah. Have you won any Knockout Tours online yet?
I think I've won one.
I have only won one
as well.
Which was
very exciting.
It's very exciting. Yes.
Knockout Tour is great. It's a great
Knockout
mode.
Tour is like the best mode for
I think there could be a little more differentiation between Knockout Tour and the regular Grand Prix. Mm-hmm. I think that's that may be for a future game for them to really.
Rainbow Road is not in any of the Knockout Tour courses. Huh? That's kind of unfortunate.
Why is that?
I would like to play Rainbow Road more, but I only play Knockout Tour.
Add that to the rotation.
Yeah, I've been trying to do the things where I get all the trophies too.
Right.
So I've been pretty good. I'm almost complete on that too.
Yeah, I haven't really. I was like, what's a trophy doing?
I don't care. It's just a way for me to keep playing the game. I've made up my own ways to motivate myself.
I'm not in the pursuit of mirror mode's never been something I really
mirror mode,
like doing. So I'm not really trying to pursue that. But.
I unlocked all the carts.
Yeah.
My precious little dumpy is
got it all.
Is unlocked.
Costumes, you don't care.
Costumes. I haven't unlocked all the costumes now. I did unlock the ones for the characters I like. Like I think I have all the Yoshi ones.
The Daisy costumes?
I do have the Daisy costumes.
I still don't understand what happened with you and Daisy.
I love Daisy. I love Daisy
I know what
now.
Happened. Daisy went up a couple levels. I know what happened with Daisy.
Daisy's pretty hot. This is
literally words I never thought I would say.
This is a interesting game because Daisy in the character select screen, you can see some stuff.
Okay.
Can see some stuff.
Great.
I was like, wow.
You can see some stuff. Let's give our number grades before this completely goes off the rails.
Yeah.
If you could even get on the rails to begin with, congratulations.
I have to 1, 2, 3 Mississippi to get on the rails.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm giving it an 8.
I'm between an 8 and a 7.5. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Okay, good. You can't do a 0.75. I think that's
7.75? No, 7.5.
Again, you gotta commit. You're going 7.5?
Yes.
Okay.
7.5.
All right.
But I think this grade can only go up.
I agree. I think
this is a great base game.
Very
foundational start.
Yes. Read the comments. Mario Kart development team. You can see exactly where you can make some improvements.
Make you a list here.
And then get on it.
Make you a checky list.
It's that simple. Just do it. It's that simple. Just do it. How hard could it be? Just do it.
More costumes for Daisy.
Yeah. Please. I need this.
More costumes for Daisy. I do like one last thing about Mario Kart.
Yes.
Is the Yoshi ice cream, the desserty costume, where the ice cream cone is on his shell.
Yeah.
Genius. That was the 0.5 right there.
We asked our Patreon community what they would review Mario Kart World as. 8% said it's a 10, 40% said it's a 9, 43% said it's an 8, 8% said it's a 7, nobody said it was a 6, and 1% said it was a 5 or lower.
Oh.
Let's see what everybody had to say. Left Hand Concerto said, I love free roam. It's oddly relaxing to just drive around and find little hidden secrets, and I like taking the time to admire cool set pieces like the Boo Cinema or the great Question Block Ruins. Grand Prix and Knockout modes are both really fun to play with. My girlfriend, though, we're finding this game more difficult to control and win than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The only real negative for me in the game is the way the costumes and Kamek characters are unlocked is extremely clunky. I ended up using a guide for the costumes, not something I ever want to have to do for a Mario Kart game.
It is a little clunky.
We didn't even mention the unlocks.
Not good.
Those Kamek unlocks,
Not good.
Get out of here with
Not
that.
good.
Get
Yeah.
out. Jason Ball 34 says, while it's an extraordinary experience, I feel it takes a couple of small steps backwards from Mario Kart 8, so it's a 9 out of 10 for me. It would be a perfect 10 if it didn't take these small steps backward, no 200cc, and the way the character select screen is set up, and the lack of amiibo support for costumes, and no ability to save replays of races. I do feel like it justifies the 80% price, though.
Okay.
See, all these things are things they can
easily fix
can
it.
and probably will address. Next, we have a very long comment from the final boss, Aaron Hash.
Oh.
Which I'm not going to read in full, but I wanted to include. You all can read it here on the screen. Aaron Hash works in motorsports.
Yes.
He's
an expert.
He is a true motorsports expert. He said, here's the motorsports guy about to go off about Mario Kart. He talks about, some opportunities to learn from what the Forza Horizon game did with free roam. Quality of life features not necessarily being there. Talking about the strange lack of costumes for Donkey Kong and Pauline that we hope are just Bonanza marketing in disguise that we will be getting soon. I would be happy with that. Where's Diddy Kong?
Maybe also part of the Bonanza marketing?
Do not make me get a Kamek roll to get a Diddy Kong. I'd be mad if I have to do
he's
that.
a main character, Diddy Kong.
Do not.
He has main character energy.
Yes. So yeah, definitely read through this comment for a lot more from the expert and the final boss, Aaron
I
Hash.
love it. I love it.
And he's giving it a 9. Okay. Games we're playing, we can cross Mario Kart World right off of that.
Cross it off.
Now here's another 30 minutes of Mario Kart World.
Oh my gosh, no more.
Deltarune.
Said what we had to say.
We have not talked much about Deltarune, which is our spoiler cast game for this month.
Yes.
Very exciting.
We are both replaying chapters 1 and 2.
Yes, starting from the beginning.
Getting into the new chapters that launched on Switch 2, 3, and 4. But we now both are in chapter 3.
Yes.
Which is the new chapters for Switch 2, which surprised me. A bit of a difference in look and feel and scale.
I think this is great. I really like Chapter 3 so far. I'm not done with it yet, but it seems like the core conceit of it's kind of like a game within a game.
Yes.
And I don't want to spoil it because it's so interesting and unexpected, but it seems like this is going to last the whole chapter. Kind of, I'm a couple hours in. I'm like, feels like this has got more room to go here.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible.
But I like the idea of like, well, we have a game that's based on chapters. Let's take one. I think he said there's 7 chapters.
Oh, is there?
Planned
I didn't know
total.
that.
It's either 6 or 7. Why not use one of those on something that's a real change of pace?
Yes.
And we're getting chapter 4 with it, which I'm presuming is going back to something slightly more traditional.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so it's not like, well, now I have to wait 5 years for the next chapter. It's like, no, you just play the next one. It's right here. But I love chapter 3. It's great.
It's been such a surprise for me because it is a bit of a pretty like hard departure from the traditional approach of Undertale, Deltarune games so far. You can see that it's taking a bit more like, it's doing more, like graphically it's doing a little bit more. Obviously, like there's a lot of like visual things that's happening that's making it feel different and special. Yeah, I wonder if this is like a moment in time kind of chapter, or is it going to be?
Is this just the game going forward? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I wouldn't think that he would do that.
Right.
But so far, I'm really, really liking it. Like, it really surprised me because again, coming from chapter 1 and 2, which is obviously came out together on the original Switch and feels very much like a continuation of what Undertale was. Seeing this like departure in sort of all ways is really fun. And this game continues to just be absolutely hilarious and quirky and charming and very sweet in some ways as well. And we were talking about, and this is our spoiler cast game, so we won't talk too much more about it, but we were talking about like even in text, the way the cadence of text appears, you're kind of like reading it in your head, and for me it's almost like I'm like acting it out in my head a little bit, and the way that the text is like written on the screen, it makes it like really funny. So I don't know how he's doing it, honestly. Like there's something about this game that just is like laugh out loud funny, even though you're just reading text on screen. But oh gosh, I really love it. I really love it so far.
Well, Toby Fox is, the visionary behind all this. He does have a bigger team now. We actually met some people at events of like, oh, I'm on the Deltarune team. Like,
Yeah.
oh, wow.
So cool.
That's very cool. So it's obviously
very cool.
allowing that team to do some things that are a bit more ambitious, but it's still got his fingerprints all over it.
Yeah.
And initially, I was asking myself, do I need to replay chapters 1 and 2? But I'm glad I did because I had honestly forgotten
Me too. Yeah.
the vast majority of what happened. Like there were some scenes and some characters and some moments. I was like, oh yes, I remember this.
Yes, totally.
This is great. But I especially like at the end of chapter 2, the final boss is basically like a punch out type game.
I like that boss too, the queen.
The queen is one of my favorite characters. Yes.
She really I feel like I'm her.
The way that she just chugged battery acid reminded me of you for some reason.
The way that she was chugging battery
through the glass.
me of me.
Yeah. Oh no.
And the way that her attitude is, she just sits around like with the martini glass. I'm like, that's like me on a Saturday night. I kind of love this.
There you go.
Love her.
Perfect.
I love her. I love. I just love all the characters in this game, and there's this like underlining sort of sadness and darkness to it.
Yes.
That's really well done with like the hilarious one-liners and the quirky characters that you meet. Like there's something very deep about this game that I can't wait to talk about it in a spoiler cast because I think there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's a very special game. Nothing that you've ever seen before, ever played before.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Next, Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening on the Switch 2. So
you started playing this game.
This is the game.
With the mouse.
With the mouse. So, yes. So, Koei Tecmo sent over some stuff, and I finally got a chance to check this out. This is a very long-running series. This like goes back like many, many generations, Nobunaga's Ambition. It's not something that I ever really played very much. Like I would always see that in a Nintendo Power and be like, oh, that looks cool, but that looks very in-depth and complex.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's
Is it real-time strategy, turn-based strategy?
No, nothing. There's nothing so far that's real time
Okay.
about it. I was pretty quickly overwhelmed at the depth of it.
Oh.
Like there is a lot that you are managing, but there's a part of that that's like very cool. Where you're starting from the beginning. It is based on like real historical scenarios, and there's a lot. There's so many scenarios that all seem like I was like, wow, these are all like going to be really like can you achieve victory with this guy in this region? And you're kind of like a lot of times starting from scratch. So the one that they have you kind of do is the tutorial is with Nobunaga, and I think it's Nagoya, which is his kind of home area, and you're starting from like not a lot, like you're in this small little region, and it's like, well, I need to build up, I need to give the daimyo. It's like I'm learning a lot about the
history and stuff,
like the structure, like the societal structure of
the societal
medieval, Japan of feudal Japan. Like you're getting a crash course on like this is how things work. And it's like, all right, well, first I need to build this, and then I can build that, and then we can build these types of buildings become available. But you can like scroll out on the map just like freely, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm this like speck on Japan. And you can just scroll around, and it'll show you like, oh, well, this is this region, and oh, this is the guy who's in charge here.
Wow.
It's like
you can go there and do things there?
No, you can't do anything right there, but at least you can go around and see like at this point in time, this is what's happening.
Oh my gosh.
In the South, or here's what's happening.
They should really use this in like history class
in this
or
city.
something.
Like I think you seriously could. Like it is that detailed.
Teach a Japanese history course using Nobunaga's Ambition.
Right. So that was my first impression. Was like, oh my gosh, like this is a incredibly like deep experience of like how in depth they're getting onto every single detail. But I did pretty quickly switch over to the mouse because like the UI is very detailed. Oh. And I think this is actually a game that is best played exclusively with the mouse. So What's
the gameplay?
I did a session that's like, I mean, it's like you're building up your city, and eventually you'll go on and do battles and overtake other regions. But I really would not want to go back to playing this with a controller afterwards because it does feel like a bit more of a PC oriented experience where it's like I need getting around on a controller just from point A to point B versus like here I am is a lot different. I'll be honest, like I don't know how much more I'm going to go with this game right now because
You're overwhelmed.
It really like requires your full attention, like to really like get immersed and understand all of the systems that are happening because it is like it's not just like
layers and layers.
Get an army and go fight a guy. Like it's not that. It's like you're building a society. It's like I need farms, I need barracks, I need all this stuff to a very granular degree.
It's like Civ.
It's a little bit like Civ, yes.
Okay.
So I was, but again, like very specialized to this time in Japan. Whereas Civ, it's like, well, we're going into the future. We're kind of quickly passing through these different eras. It's like, no, we are anchored to this point in time with these characters, and it seems like you can play, all these different characters that they have. There was some DLC. There was some free DLC that I saw. It's like play as this VTuber, and I was like, what's that?
What?
I did not download that because I wanted the proper
true historical experience.
I'd rather play as Nobunaga than Johnny VTuber, which was a bit of a strange collaboration.
Hatsune Miku.
I thought. But I was very glad that I went and checked this out because it's always been a series that I knew about and was always a little bit curious about. And I was like, wow, like if you like those types of games, like there's a lot going on here.
Okay.
Wow.
You were overwhelmed.
But it's as far as something for the mouse.
This is the one.
Like I was like, yes. Play this exclusively with the mouse.
Okay.
And I was having no problem. I think I was just on the couch again using my thigh meat to move this thing around. Thigh meat, yes. But yes, that game is no joke.
Wow. Okay.
Slightly intimidating, to be quite honest.
You feel kind of dumb now, don't you?
Oh. Yeah.
It's just a piece of thigh meat,
yes.
and that's it. I have been playing Atelier Yumiya.
Yeah.
Which is a Koei Tecmo game that I think this is a series that exists.
The series has gone on for a long time.
For a long time that I've never played a game.
I haven't either. Yeah, so I'm curious what you're going to say about this.
Yeah, it is like very flashy.
You want to talk about thigh meat? My goodness, this series seems to have plenty of that.
Yes, JRPG. Very fast-paced JRPG though. Some very like cool-looking cutscenes. You play as Yumiya. That's the main character.
Okay.
Very like I know this is a weird comparison to make. This is not the same type of game, but there's parts of the way that the fighting is. It reminds me of Bayonetta a little bit.
This is turn-based though.
This is not turn-based.
Oh, it's not?
This is action.
Oh, okay.
Real-time action.
I was mistaken then. Okay.
Yeah.
This is how little I know about this series.
Yeah, it's not turn-based.
Okay.
Yeah. But Yumiya, even her like look, she has like these like kind of shoes that look like Bayonetta shoes with like little gun shoes kind of thing. And yeah, no, it is like it's real-time action. You kind of like just run into enemies and then it starts a fight. It kind of you can kind of like freely move around the arena. There's like a lot of things that you're doing with like dodging, AoE attacks. There's a combination between you having some range, like almost like a rifle, and also like kind of like a staff situation.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of like just regular action. You can do double jumps and all sorts of crazy stuff like as you go through the environment. I didn't get too far in the game, but it is very fast paced, really interesting. I did notice there was some in handheld mode. There was some interesting, like weird kind of flickering going on with the graphics.
This is a Switch 1 game, we should say.
Yes, it was making me feel a little dizzy on the Switch 2. I don't know if there's some sort of some sort of graphical thing, but yeah, pretty like interesting game.
Yeah, I hope you keep going with it because it is a series that I've seen. It seems like it's getting much bigger in popularity, but I just haven't had a chance to stop and be like, well, what is? And I know we have people in our community who really like these games too.
Yeah.
So I just would love like a crash course on like what's going on here.
They are very sexy.
That's all I need to know.
The people in the game.
What's happening here?
Yes. The camera angles are not shy about showing you the goods.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you. You know how when we were playing Nier, like the camera angle was in a way where you can like barely see up her skirt. That's the camera angle for this game.
Maybe more than barely, but okay.
Yeah, it's like okay, and then So, anyways, they're not shying away from that stuff. That's fine. She's very pretty.
Okay.
So yes, I'm gonna keep checking it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I liked it so far.
Yeah. Lastly, last week I was talking about Switch 1 games that ran great on a Switch 2, and one of the ones I mentioned was Red Faction Guerrilla. So I might as well just talk a little bit about what that game is.
Yeah,
Because people may not know. So this is a Switch 1 game that's actually a remake of an Xbox 360 game.
Yeah.
Which I played back then and really liked. And on the Switch 2, like, the frame rate for this is so smooth now. Like, it's amazing how smooth it is. And it was a little challenged on the Switch 1, I understand it. I only got this after I saw some video of like, wow, this game runs great, and it happened to be on sale for $3.
Nice.
So
there you go.
What a bargain.
$3 is definitely the threshold of like, I'll try this out.
Yeah, but this came out in the Xbox 360 kind of around the time where open world games, where it's like, well, what else can we do in an open world game besides just Grand Theft Auto type stuff?
Yeah.
And this is where you saw things like Crackdown and all the other like superhero kind of like infamous games like that. So this game, you're on Mars.
Oh.
And you're part of this like society that's building things up on Mars, and you're part of this like resistance to like the big bad, whatever. And a lot of what you're doing in this game involves destroying structures. Like the level of destructibility is what this game
Get ready for Donkey Kong.
exactly hangs its hat on. So there's a lot of times where it's like, blow up this enemy structure, and it's just like a skyscraper, and like you have a sledgehammer. That's like your default melee weapon that you can just start banging on it, and parts will start flying off. And if you go around and you bang that sledgehammer enough, like this building will
just topple.
Will fall down.
Yeah.
Or you get these like charges that you can put off. You boop, blow it up, and
Is it single player?
yes.
Okay.
Oh no, this game actually has multiplayer.
Okay.
I doubt there's anybody online in the multiplayer. But it's also not like I think that what's in the single player is so cool and so unique. You're kind of not. It's more just like fight people. There are times that like there will be guys and you have a gun and you can shoot them. It's not as satisfying though. Like,
Then taking down a giant skyscraper.
I haven't seen a game like this since then have this level of destructibility. So like there's just something very salitsatisfying of like how like it's like a puzzle. It's like, how am I taking this building down in an efficient ways? And again, you get the sledgehammer, you get these little charge things, you get a rocket launch, you get all sorts of things later on. And it's like, I'm just taking it all down.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know how they did this on an
like
Xbox 360.
The human need to destroy.
Yes.
Like, this is why I want to kick down your sandcastle.
It's a huge power fantasy game.
I want to do that thing where
which I'm a huge fan of those.
You stack the Legos up and then you just like, pow!
Yes.
And bring it down, and it feels good.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Yes, it's great. So again, this game is nothing new. This game is like 20 years old, but it's still one that I think holds up surprisingly.
$3.
Surprisingly well. I don't know if it's still $3, but it'll probably be back on sale soon enough. So put it on your wish list. That's nice. On the new Switch 2 wish list, it'll tell you if one of your games is on sale.
That's what I was just asking you.
So that
like
is
you can track a sale.
That is nice.
Kind of nice.
So
yes. There we go.
Next up, the Saints Row games.
Still waiting for it to go on
waiting.
sale. How much are they right now?
They're $20
each.
I think you can get both of them for $30. It's going to go on sale. I can wait.
$15.
I can wait. I did also get. I have not had a chance to try this though. No Man's Sky.
People say it runs like badly though.
On the Switch 2?
Yeah.
Who said that?
I saw some comments.
What are you talking about here?
But you think it runs bad?
Well, they have a Switch. They have a Switch 2 version.
Oh, okay.
This is not just the original Switch version. Like they did a proper upgrade, and I saw some videos of that. I was like, oh, this looks significantly better.
There you go.
So I haven't had a chance to check that out. I have that on PS4, but at this point, it's like they've done so much to that game. Like I might as well just start
from scratch.
Because they've come a long way in like 10 years with that game.
Yeah.
I will find some time to check that out as well.
Right.
See, now I'm just buying things that I'm not even playing. That's
bad.
This is a bad.
You shouldn't do that.
It's a bad place to be.
That's really.
But it
bad.
was on sale. It was like $20 versus $60. It's going back to $60 soon.
All right. But you're eventually going to play it, right?
Yes. Again, at $60, I'm definitely not going to do that.
Yeah, you're not testing a game at $60.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So those are the games we're playing.
Wow.
We're staying busy.
Continue to dabble.
Yes. Let's get into some news. And some of this stuff you did not have a chance to comment on last week.
I didn't?
No. Last week while you were gone. So I kind of want to get your thoughts specifically on these things.
Wait. Really?
Yeah. Did you have anything to say about Splatoon Raiders? No.
Oh yeah.
You haven't said a word about that. We haven't talked about the Switch 2 sales. There's a bit new information on that.
All right.
So it became the fastest selling console for Nintendo, probably the fastest selling system ever.
Yeah.
Matt Piscatella, who works at what used to be the NPD, I refuse to refer to it by whatever name they use now, it's just NPD to me. He said, set a new all-time launch week unit sale record for video game hardware in the US with over 1.1 million units sold. And then he had this point, 79% of US Switch 2 buyers also purchased Mario Kart World either physically or as part of the hardware bundle.
Yeah.
He does not get data, and the NPD does not get data about
globally or
digital.
Oh, digital
sales.
stuff.
And
yeah.
yes, they are focused on the US,
yeah.
the US market. Did you think it would be higher than 79%?
Actually, yes.
I kind of did too.
Because remember how we would joke around the attach rate for Breath of the Wild was over 100%?
Interesting.
Because of Wii U, obviously.
Right, and then there were people who were buying like the different versions of the game too. They would get a base version and a collector's edition.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I am a little surprised. So I guess people were buying the unbundled version and just not even buying Mario. I mean, everybody in their circle of friends know at least one or two people that only wanted the system. So I guess that kind of makes sense if it's only 78% or 79%, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, the question is, what is the tie rate long term? And if you talk about like on a Nintendo Switch, you have 65 million Mario Kart 8s versus like 150 million. That's a little bit less than half. That's
right.
maybe in the 40% ish range, which is still amazing.
A pretty crazy range
over all those years. It's something to keep an eye on as we start to get more of those sales reports as time goes on.
And this is, again, why they need to, sooner rather than later, do all of the things to keep you coming back or incentivize people more and more. Even if they hadn't bought it yet, incentivize them to jump in at any point to get that tie ratio up. Right.
Don't just assume that the same phenomenon that happened with 8 Deluxe will happen
exactly.
again. And then I found this interesting infographic about just comparing some of the big launches.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of
I like this.
When companies made announcements, like what were the time frames that they were doing. So Switch 2, it was 3.5 million in 4 days. This is global. PS4 announced 2.1 million in 16 days. PS5 announced 3.4 million in a month. The original Switch was 2.74 million in a month. And the Steam Deck, I don't know why they include this, was 3.7 million in 4.5 years.
Whoa.
The online discussion about Switch 2 versus the Steam Deck has gone full-on toxic, unfortunately.
Why is that being compared?
Well, there were a lot of people saying, don't buy a Switch 2, buy a Steam Deck. And then that became the, now we're dunking on the Steam Deck fans because the Switch 2 sold basically as many systems as the Steam Deck has forever.
Stupid argument.
And then it's like, well, all you do on a Steam Deck is pirate Switch games, and now it's really dumb.
That's so dumb.
Be glad that you're not.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
Be glad that you're not exposed to this.
Not exposed / don't care, and also you're dumb.
I know.
That's my conclusion on that.
But yeah, I mean, it was a very interestingly they did not. When they made the announcement, they kept it to fastest selling Nintendo system. They didn't say of all time. Of all time.
Right.
But clearly
it is of all time.
I think it very clearly was interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
More thoughts on this?
They didn't do best selling.
No, they didn't. Fastest selling.
Yeah, interesting though.
I think they might think maybe somebody thought fastest selling is more impressive.
They did? Why?
I don't know.
Best selling is definitely more impressive.
Then why didn't they do it?
I don't know. They could have said best selling too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's just the way that they are PR spinning the numbers.
Right.
But these numbers are so impressive. But I'm still really stuck on what you were saying. I think it was last week about like no one has really seen the ceiling.
Could this have been 5 million in 4 days if they
had
5 million systems?
5 million.
I don't know. Could have been.
But what if it was 10 million?
That's probably too many.
You think so? What do you think the ceiling is? I think this is fascinating.
I think they could have done 5.
Yeah?
I think 5 to 7 is probably
5 to 7.
You're starting to see some now still. On a shelf?
On a shelf,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But we don't know.
Interesting.
Never been done.
I want somebody
NBDB.
I want somebody to try this because there is something very specific about people's like FOMO levels
Yes.
during launch weekend.
And only then. Yes.
And only then.
Yes.
And even if it becomes a failure of a system later on, and this is the only sales you're ever going to make,
well,
like
might as well get them in while you can.
that's the thing. You might as well get them in.
At a certain point, it becomes so logistically challenging. Like
I bet.
there's probably the limit to this is like
Yeah.
logistically there is a cap to how many you can do.
I did see an advertisement maybe yesterday from GameStop that's like, get ready for restocks, we're getting more in, or something like that, of Switch 2s.
And they made a joke about stapling.
The stapling.
That is in such poor. I can't believe
that's in poor taste. That's in poor
Don't
taste.
do that, GameStop.
That's in poor
I'm
taste.
pointing at the camera to shame you for that. Don't try and make a joke out of that.
Some people have really had to deal
That's
with
terrible.
some bad stuff.
Some people had to wait in line as you reverse counted down the pre-orders, like us.
But at least your screen wasn't destroyed.
It's not funny.
Yeah, but so it does sound like, yes, GameStop, you're terrible. But it does sound like there is restocks are happening maybe sooner than we think.
Well, it doesn't seem like it's like massive, but I mean, they'll get a little bit of replenishment here and there, sure.
Okay.
Splatoon Raiders was announced.
Yes.
I did. I'm so proud of myself. I did
a
whole video all by myself. I recorded it. I edited it. I released it. I told you, all of last week was me trying to prove to you that I'm not a buffoon. And I think I did it.
We'll see how long that lasts.
I hope I did it.
You did great.
Yes,
you did great.
Splatoon
I watched the
Raiders.
video when I got off the airplane. I was like, oh, very good. Gold star.
Thoughts on this game?
I'm very excited about this.
What do you think this game
interesting.
is? What do you think this is?
It's more so like exploration single player kind of thing, campaigns. Like
I think this is just what they need because I think, Splatoon has gotten very big, but what it is now is a very multiplayer focused game. And I think there is, especially in Japan where this has become such a phenomenon, there are people who just are not going to get into a multiplayer game for whatever reason. Either they're intimidated or, that's just not the kind of game that they want. I think doing something that is probably more single player oriented is really smart at this point of like, how else can we bring people in to this series? And who knows, maybe then these people do get the comfort of like, oh, I'm familiar with this, I like this, I'll try out that multiplayer.
And I think that this is such a good idea because we always talk about how rich the Splatoon universe is.
This is what I've wanted.
It seems like the Splatoon universe just has like so much lore. They've thought through so much about like how this world came to be and like what the story behind it is. And I find that to be fascinating. And I've been wanting to learn more about it, and we get a little bit of that sometimes during the mainline Splatoon games with the single-player campaigns. You get a little bit of the introduction to the story, but it seems like this is going to be very focused on that. And I'm so here for it. Like, I really want to know, like, what is happening in this world.
Yeah. I did also get the Splatoon 3 update. Because they did a Switch 2
I saw that.
Update for that,
yes,
and the game runs really well. It's
nice.
like it's very shocking, like when you're in like the big like city center. It's like to see how smoothly it all runs. It's like it was not like this before. But I mean, quite frankly, like the people who are playing Splatoon online now are lunatics who've been playing this game for years straight. So it's like, again, bringing new people in. If I just bought Splatoon 3 today, like, I'm gonna go play some games online, just get absolutely steamrolled.
Yeah.
Like this is the kind of thing that they need to do. So this is great. They did not say when it's coming out.
I know.
I've seen some people assuming it's going to be out this year. I
don't think it is.
I'm not ready to say that. I didn't
get the sense that it was coming out this year.
I think if it was this year, they would come out and say it.
Like winter or something, or like
holiday. They would give you some indication of that. So I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Like, I'm one of the people that feel a bit intimidated playing multiplayer Splatoon.
Outside of
Turf War.
Yeah.
And also, I only really like playing Splatoon when it's with our community. Like, I only like it when we do it during meetups, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this game is fun.
Yeah.
I never play Splatoon on my own. Like, I just never reach for it, So having something else, especially in this world that I'm very interested in learning more about, I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of getting the Splatoon 3 DLC that we missed Was that last year?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think it was last year.
That's the story-based one.
Right,
too.
the more story,
Yeah.
the more single
That could be fun.
player one. I
Yeah.
think that could be great. I should get that.
Yeah.
Last news story is Konami did a press live stream that nobody seemed to know about on June 12th, and they went over some of the stuff that we already knew, like Metal Gear Solid Delta, but they did also announce a new remake of the original Silent Hill game that Bloober Team is doing.
Wow.
And they didn't have a lot more to say than that, but that's good news.
Yeah. People seem to like what Bloober Team had done in the past, so.
I mean, the Bloober Team had a great redemption arc where people were so down on them and like, oh, they're going to mess it up, it's going to suck.
And then it was great.
And it came out, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm actually slightly more excited for this one because the source material is so much more dated than the PS1 versus PS2. Like, you could probably still go back to Silent Hill 2 on the PS2 and really enjoy that and get a lot out of it versus Silent Hill on the PS1. I haven't gone back to it in a while.
Yeah, that might be pretty tough to go back to.
It's probably a little bit rough, and I think there's a lot to work with there, and that's still a great game. The bones of a great game are there, so taking what they learned with this game, applying it to this, I think it's great.
Yeah,
I'm excited that Konami is getting back more. It feels like a lot of stuff they have is more of a remake nature.
But they're doing something that's not opening a gym.
But they're really well done remakes that are true to the source material, but also in some cases pushing it in a new direction. So I'm as far as getting back into things, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
Too scared.
This is the game that I need a sale on Silent Hill 2. I'll admit I didn't get it. This is another $70 game where it's like I can't.
A lot of people in our community love this game.
I know, but for a game that I might be too scared to play,
too scared.
I need it to go.
I can't. I'm not doing that.
The price tag for this for me was probably $30, honestly, which it might get to like this holidays. That's fine.
Still too scared at $30.
I'm frightened.
I don't think I can play this game. I'm too scared. I truly won't be able to do it.
October gameplay video?
No.
Silent Hill 2? I think we should do that.
Oh gosh. Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle it.
Do you remember when we did the Until Dawn gameplay?
That wasn't as scary as I thought it would be.
With the heart rate?
Yeah.
And we each left the room, and then I was making sounds.
That was scary.
Outside.
At my mom's house?
Yeah.
My mom was like, what are you doing
What's
here?
happening? In the middle, we recorded it in the middle of the night. You remember that?
Do we have to come in at night for this one?
We might. I don't know.
We came in for the Switch unboxing.
Yes. It was too late, unfortunately. All right, let's move on to questions from our community. We get all of our questions from our Patreon community. Check us out at patreon.com/Kit and Krysta. Start with a question from MechaDragon101. Hey there, Kit and Krysta. It's me, MechaDragon, again. How do you guys feel about every time a news outlet says former Nintendo employees, 9 times out of 10, it's usually you guys? Do you feel like they should just say Kit and Krysta said instead of former Nintendo employees say? Why do you guys think they write their headlines like this? I see it often where instead of just saying what the article is about, like if it's about a YouTuber, they'll say, YouTuber did this. I hope that question makes sense, and I hope they give you guys as much credit as you deserve. Thanks.
Starring the
This was on overdrive with the Shu Yoshida video, because it was former PlayStation executive, former Nintendo employees. It was all over the place.
Whoa!
Like day one, that was getting aggregated like crazy.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm sure that when he said that he really didn't want to be aggregated in that video, that he was getting like all the stupid headlines again.
Right.
I mean, they do this because they want to put Nintendo employees in the titles to get as many, clicks as possible. It's just it's a stupid way to get
I mean, in the article itself, most times they will say it's us. So
quote us.
They do need to find a way to get people to click through. So it's like they need to have some sense of a question of like, who could that be? Was it Reggie? Was it Kit and Krysta? Was it somebody? I'm gonna click through and find out.
Exactly.
So it's like I understand why they do it. It frankly doesn't bother me because like I realize the fact that we are former Nintendo employees is a big reason why a lot of people are here.
Exactly.
Like that is what makes us different than everybody else talking about Nintendo on YouTube.
Oh my gosh, there was the best comment ever on one of these videos that we did. It's like, what's happening inside Nintendo? And then somebody commented and was like, why is this the 4th video that you guys are doing on this topic? And then someone else commented and was like, isn't that why you're here? I was like, perfect. Self-regulate.
Right,
awesome.
right.
But that's true. It's like, our, very unique experience, our very long tenure at Nintendo gives us a very unique perspective, and a lot of times that's why these media outlets are quoting us.
So that's helping to reinforce our unique's actually.
Yes.
So I'm never really upset by this.
I don't care. I mean, I do feel it, like what Shuhei Yoshida was saying as well. Like, we do feel that sometimes. Like, oh man, they just like, they're gonna clickbait you. You know, they're gonna we call it like they're gonna aggregate you because they will take like the most salacious thing that wasn't even salacious to begin with.
Right.
And like basically like word salad you, and then your quote is not including the context in which you said the rest of the stuff.
Right.
And he was feeling it too, and we were commiserating a bit with him because he was like, yeah, I said like 27 really positive things about Nintendo Switch, like 2 or whatever, and then I said like one thing that was like not even negative, but just like, oh, and it seems like this, but they missed all the context, and every quote was like, former Sony exec says Nintendo has lost their way, or like some stupid,
Right.
So they do that to us too. Like, I don't care, but it's always like, well, yeah, I know what you're doing. You're trying to get like a click.
Right. A lot of these people, like, we know, like Go Nintendo will do this a lot. Kevin Cassidy runs Go Nintendo.
We're friends.
We know him super well.
You can quote me however you want,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Forever.
I don't care.
So
make it as salacious as possible so your site gets lots of clicks.
It has become a joke of how frequently it happens, but it's not something that's really bothering me. Stephen Cheney asks, I have a way to square the following circle. Krysta said Mario Kart World's $80 price tag means they would create consumer resentment if they charge for DLC down the road, and yet we've been spoiled lately to where 30 tracks feels a bit unfinished. Nintendo could leverage the popularity of the Mario Kart franchise to sell more copies of other games. For example, if you have save data on your console for Donkey Kong Bonanza, that unlocks the Kong Cup, an interconnected island with 4 DK-themed tracks on it. They could then do this with other games in the extended Mario universe. So the DLC would be unpaid, but not yet free, if that makes sense. What are your thoughts?
See, that is a really good idea of whether or not they do exactly Steven's idea, but this, like, we've been talking about it too, like we were theorizing on whether or not Donkey Kong only has 2 costumes is because they're saving some of that stuff for the launch of Bonanza.
Yes.
But like the idea where Mario Kart is like the anchor for the entire generation of Switch 2.
That becomes the Fortnite of the Switch 2.
Yeah. And there's all these cool events that happen around the launch of other big Nintendo games. Like the next Zelda game comes out, and that's when we get the Master Cycle.
Cool.
Or like whatever vehicle, Or Donkey Kong comes out and we get a new unlockable character with baby Pauline or whatever, or you get new costumes, or I'm not sure about tracks. That's probably a little bit harder to do, but just any sort of like recognition within Mario Kart celebrating like the bigger Nintendo universe happening around it, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah, that's a cool idea where slowly stuff gets added to it, timed to the release of these big games, and there's things that are themed around that. I do like that idea.
I think it's awesome.
I think that the mechanic of having people buy the games, like we saw, like there was even backlash with Amiibo, where it's like, oh, you're
locking paywall.
You're pricing me out, and it's like, oh, now it's an $80 DLC for an $80 game.
Oh no!
Freak out, that kind of thing.
Freak out.
So I'm not sure everybody would love that, but I'm very open to things of this nature.
Yes.
And I want them to be thinking of things of this nature.
And I do think, though, just because you bought a different $70 game in Donkey Kong Bonanza, for example, they wouldn't give you any freebies in Mario Kart World.
You still have to buy it. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think they still want to charge you for any sort of DLC.
But we will probably, again, we may see a test of this soon because people have been pointing out, hey, in Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong and Pauline only have 1 unlockable costume apiece. What's up with that?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus Waluigi's got like 10. What's going on there? And there is a theory that
could
more will be added kind of as marketing for Bonanza.
Let's see if that happens.
Okay.
Let's see if they're this organized.
I'm interested in how something like that.
I'm very interested in this.
And how something like that, because that does really stand out. I'm like, wait, why?
Truly
what's happening with Donkey Kong here?
Yeah, and I think that this will be a great way for them to like keep Mario Kart fresh, because
Yes.
as you on your mind, you're like, oh, I can't wait to play Donkey Kong. You're like, oh, and then I should definitely check out the Mario Kart
Right.
set that's celebrating Donkey Kong.
Yes.
'Cause I'm like in my Donkey Kong state of mind right now. Right?
Yes.
That'd be so cool.
Next
but I
question.
think they will charge you.
Next question is from the Fonz part. With the 10th anniversary of Mr. Iwata's passing coming up next month, do you guys have any plans to share more Iwata stories? I enjoyed hearing the one about the Wii U name reveal, like an above question mentioned. Iwata was a big part of why I became a bigger Nintendo fan, because I believed in his design philosophies and liked his goofy, dry nature. So hearing more personal stories we may not have ever heard before would be a treat. Also, I was one of the people who mailed in fan art after Iwata's passing to NOA headquarters. I forget the exact address, but I think it was the Redmond office. I even got a signed letter from Reggie thanking me that I treasure to this day. Do you guys know of anything else sent in like I did? I'd be curious what they did with my frame drawing and other things sent in by fans.
That was so nice to
Yes.
see all the things sent in by fans. I remember they had a display in the Redmond office for everything that people were sending in for Mr. Iwata, and some of the things were just beautiful messages, like from
Right.
fans and artwork, just lovely. And then they had that displayed. And yeah, Reggie responded to everybody. Like he really was like trying to make sure that he was able to get back to everybody with like thank you notes and things like that. And then at the store in New York, they had that on display too. They had a little windowsill, I remember,
Yeah,
that had all
yeah.
the things on display.
Right.
They've kept that all. I'm sure they've put that into the
Right.
archives.
Right.
But yeah, it's so nice that people were doing that. It was really sweet.
Yeah. In terms of the anniversary, it has dawned on me that that's coming up.
Oh man, has it
kinda-
really been 10 years?
I don't know how I feel about like using that
to tell a
like
story.
to try and like
Yeah.
well, let's capitalize on this, and
Right.
it feels like kind of the wrong thing to
Yeah,
do. So
yeah.
I don't know, maybe more thought on our side to put in there
Yeah.
how to appropriately approach that in a way that does not feel like we're just
using that as
Using
a
that
way
for-
yeah.
for something. Yes.
Yeah, this really was like hard for us. I think
Mm-hmm.
when in the when it happened, and I still feel like it feels hard, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's good for us to approach it respectfully, obviously, and yeah, I'm we definitely have more stories about Mr. Iwata. We'll find the right time to like share those stories, I think, but yeah, I think in regards to like doing it on the anniversary of his passing, we may need to think a little bit more about
Yes.
that.
Yes. Last question is from Zelgaroth. Amazon has suddenly resumed stocking Nintendo products. Do you think Amazon gave in, or was it Nintendo, or was it both of them? Also, what do you think the feud was about to begin with? Somehow Amazon returned.
Oh boy, they did it. They
So-
figured it out.
Definitely go back and watch our video
With Sean.
with our old co-worker Sean, who worked on the sales side, and he had a lot to say about the Nintendo-Amazon relationship.
Yeah.
And how it was, basically like this standoff of two big companies, and none of them wanted to budge, so we had this bad situation where stuff was not available.
Yeah.
And my gosh, like I really think of like how would these pre-orders have gone if Amazon was there? Because they do seem
More equipped.
more equipped and capable of doing stuff like this and managing the high volume of people that were coming. Like things could have been very different for these pre-orders.
They probably would be able to. Maybe if they had that and they had more units, they could have gotten to 10 million.
Yeah.
8 million.
So, but I've seen a lot of theories of what caused this. I don't think we know. I've heard people saying they were shipping product that arrived too early, like new games.
Yep.
Oh no, posting spoilers.
Oh, the spoilers.
Because of Amazon.
8 hours in
Get 'em.
advance? Oh no!
And I've seen people talking about like them selling, like they have like the Amazon marketplace is where you can sell anything. It's like, well, this is knockoff products, knockoff stuff. Like we need to crack down on that
before we give you the actual thing.
Exactly, and that became a big sticking point. I don't know. So I don't know. Do you have a theory of what happened here?
Yeah, I think it's the sort of the uncontrollable nature of Amazon versus other retailers. I have heard that before when we were inside Nintendo, is like Amazon feels kind of like the Wild West because it has all those components. Like, yes, you can sell it officially through Amazon as like a licensed seller. And you know, as a consumer, when I go to buy things off Amazon, I'm very careful. Like, I'll look very carefully to see
Where's this coming from?
Sold by and shipped by, because you can get some
hoodwinked.
And that's happened to people before, and it's really unfortunate. People have had like really bad experiences with that. So, I think that was always the sense at Nintendo, where for a company that loves to control everything, they just didn't have that level of control with Amazon. Amazon also wasn't that willing to like help them get the control. Like, they were like, well, this is just how it works on our platform.
Right.
Take it or leave it kind of thing. So they must have gotten to some place where, Nintendo feels a little bit more comfortable. Maybe there's like, in a limited way, this is coming back or whatever.
Yeah. It could also be like, previously we were at the tail end of the Switch generation. Things are a little bit slower. It's like, now we're in this new generation. Like, we need to really
like make this happen.
We got to sell some stuff.
Yeah.
We got hot product to sell. So
right.
maybe cooler heads prevailed and they came to a deal.
Exactly.
Because there's dollars on the line.
Right. You're leaving money behind if you're not across all of these places where people buy things.
Having some highly emotional feud.
Yeah.
No, we need to get down to the callous business of selling products.
Yeah.
Emotions have no place.
No, money talks.
In the business world.
That's what the money is for.
That's right.
As Don Draper says.
Follow the money.
Money.
Thank you to everybody who sent in a question. Again, we're at patreon.com/KitandKrysta. Please subscribe there, where for a few dollars a month you can get so many great things. You can get the Deltarune spoiler cast, weekly bonus Q&A, weekly behind the scenes, virtual gameplay sessions with us. Oh my gosh.
That's fun.
Sometimes we say, okay, subscribe to get the Deltarune spoiler cast. That means you get the Deltarune spoiler cast.
And all the other ones.
You get all the other ones as well. It's not just, you're not just getting that one thing. Like, no, you get access to everything at that tier that has ever happened.
Existed.
Oh my gosh.
There's a big library of...
There's like hundreds of hours.
Of not only the spoiler cast, but also the bonus Q&As, the behind the scenes. Immediately get access to our amazing Discord community. They're holding their own gameplay sessions, their own tournaments. They're doing so many fun things with each other. And it's just great to be part of it. So, yeah.
Yes.
We are also on the socials. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Blue Sky, and the radio.
Yes. And like we said, please subscribe on YouTube. Help us get the march
we are so
to
close.
100K up that hill. We're going to love that. If you're on YouTube right now, you can give this video a thumbs up and also leave us a comment. If you're listening on audio, you can also subscribe, give the podcast a 5-star rating, and leave a written review if you are so inclined. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Shall we shout out some wonderful Patreon community members?
Yes.
Starting with Final Boss, motorsports expert, most wonderful person just on this earth, Aaron Hash. Aaron Hash with such great thoughts about Mario Kart from a motorsports brain.
That's right.
I love it. Superstars. Ben Eichhorn.
Mario Mayhem.
Eigenverse.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Roy Eschke.
Switching It Up, _
VGM Life.
Link, the hero of wins.
Angela Bycroft.
Thomas Rourke.
Kyle LaBeouf.
Roberto Nieves.
Frederick Ulf Conradson.
Andrew Uhas.
Chili.
Simon.
Crushery.
Master Discord.
Ash.
Ajay Kunlas.
40 Gig.
Travis Torline.
Echo Ladare.
That's so Linnell.
MSM Poke Gamer.
Cameron.
R. Burns.
Igami.
Kit 10K.
Adrian.
And Nathan Clover.
Wow. All right, here comes the One Up Club. A. Ron Burgundy.
Add Cool 2000.
Ale Alejandro.
Ali.
Andy Peachy.
Andy Robinson.
Angel 8.
Aristu.
Astrodev.
Atticus Hogbin.
Awesome 46.
Axel.
Bad at Smash.
Bad Moon Horizon.
Barnstorm.
Bates.
Ben GB.
Big N Gamer with a Y.
Brad SF56.
Brandon Kavapel.
Brent Dennison.
Brian Decker.
Brovac Novak.
Bruce Dash.
Bucky Flores.
Call Sign Forte.
Cashew.
Shadir.
Chelly Squirrel.
Chicken.
Chris Fisher.
Crispy Saurus.
Christina.
Christopher Lay.
Colleen Finnegan.
Cosmic Titan 718.
Captain Alex.
C Roper 17.
Dag DeLeo.
Dallas E.
Dachshund.
Delving with Difford.
Debbie P.
Doinko.
Dre.
Eccentric Tony.
El Hugo.
Elite Peach.
Esparts 50.
Fairbound.
Fernie and Jess Forever.
Fox Deploy.
Gamer Nerd 78.
Gamer Likes Anime.
Garth the Wolf.
Gartooth.
Jeremy.
Gin Wolf.
Guilty Phoenix 42.
Handheld Gamer.
Happy Sloth.
I may have made a mistake.
Iris Marin.
It's your boy J-Hove.
Jay Rando.
Jameson Eisenberg.
Jason Ball 34.
Joe Encarnacion.
Joel.
John Diaz.
Jonathan Rowe.
John Conboy.
Oh, you did it right. Jordan Hemmerly.
Joshua Clements.
Judy Fruit.
Justin Leminger.
J Wolf.
Callan, CPU 57.
Kawa 2796.
Kevin Delane.
Kevin Marino.
Kilo Kibo.
Klefki to my heart.
Christopia Party With Me.
KS 3261.
Kyle Gamer Barry Rookie.
Kyle 325.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyle R. Smith.
Lazy Cat for Coffee.
Leo Rao.
Lex.
Lightwood.
Link 9898.
Low Mikey.
Linko.
Lit.
Lucas Pico.
Luigi Kid 64.
Luke Hayabusa.
Luna B.
Lynn.
Macho Potato.
Mad Dog 5981.
Magnificent Easy G plus Callie Marie.
Mario Man 392.
Mark S.
Marky Man 64.
Maverick Nate.
Mecha Dragon 101.
Megan.
Nay plus Leon.
Michael Mazer.
Michael O'Hara.
Michael Wong.
Mikey.
Mr. Rhino 7.
Motomania.
Mr. Andy Pond.
Mr. Beans and Dip.
Mr. Disneyland.
Nitran.
Nasir.
Niaf E.
Nagbia Reeves.
Nintendo 64.
Ninja 11.
Noah-san.
Omega Index Card.
Hangy.
Paperboat.
Patrice Millette.
Paul.
Paul Gale Network.
Poke Digifan 20.
Prime Factor.
Prince Charmless.
Punky.
Raintech.
Reckless Thomas.
Rob M.
Rob O.
Romsky 113.
Rocks.
Rusty Shackelford.
Ryan Haas.
Ryanetta.
Sage Gamer.
Sebastiano Garais.
Sega.
You didn't do it. Sharif Jackson.
Shinryu.
Shiny Elizabeth.
Slowbro.
Schmills.
Shmup.
Schwazzle.
Spacey Poo.
Spicy Munch.
Steel Citron.
Stephen Johnson.
Get it together. Stephen Rockoff.
Pseudo Priest.
Symbiote Spidey.
Tales of Link.
Tandem.
Tay120N64.
Teal Fox 64.
The Kagers.
The Quiet One.
The Star OT.
The Shark Among Men.
The Schmidt one.
The T-Man.
Thomas Alvarez.
Three Rivers.
Titanium Soldier.
Torcheeks.
Totally Joette.
Totamaru.
Chichowie.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tuscobe.
Thailander 16.
Tyler Geis.
Vash.
Vigmictor.
Vinny to the K.
Viridian.
Virtual Bot.
Waffles.
WG Grizzy.
Wicked Davy.
William Breimer.
Zachary S.
Zelgarov.
Zapatty.
Zero Link.
And Zroid.
You're right. John Conboy is really the test to see if you're paying attention. Every time.
Shump.
Huh? Shump? Schmope? Shump. Yes.
I like it.
Like a sound effect in a game.
Shump. I like how Titanium Soldier is all caps. So you have to go, Titanium Soldier!
It's very strong and powerful,
in that
yes.
voice, because, or else
I agree.
it doesn't match the writing.
I agree.
Wonderful. That's it for this episode.
Sure is.
We have reviewed the Nintendo Switch 2.
Wow.
Now we can throw it in
Going
the trash.
it's going right up on Metacritic. No, it's not.
I was like, wait, what?
No, it's not.
As a user score, maybe. User score. Your pithy little user score. Anyways, we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.